Favorites, we here for the latest. South side or the north side, not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball, but we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah, it's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Gantes or the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
All right, everybody. See you guys already getting started in the comment section.
Race to first. Whew.
Always like seeing that. The tweets are out. That is a nice picture of Dansby Swanson. Are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, December 15th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawoski, a.k.a. Father Zoe, and with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
Zoe, you've known me for a while now. You know I hate being just in a shitty mood, but well, Tuesday night was one of the roughest ones in recent memory.
Yeah, I'm loving this, watching you become the Joker in real time. It's been a treat as someone who's been doing this show with you for over half a decade.
I'm glad someone's enjoying it.
Well, I'll tell you why. My
descent into madness.
Yes, I was actually thinking about this. And also, the good Reverend K. Fids.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up, guys. Let Jed cook. Nah, exactly. You know what? Yeah, this is I'm glad we're all together tonight. It's good safety in numbers.
And the rookie, NASCAR Mitch.
I would be lying if I said I'm not relishing in all the Cub fan misery.
Oh, Mitch has been
for a team not doing anything. Like, that's all I have at this point is seeing Cubs fans miserable. So I'm going to enjoy the show tonight. I'm going to sit back and be a fan for the rest of them and listen to you guys, right?
So, as we alluded to, it was another interesting week in the Major League Baseball offseason. Not in a good way for either side of town. Both teams suck and everything is horrible. So that's the show. We'll see you guys next week.
Everything is awesome.
No, but we're going to get into it and a lot more, but I don't think there's really any use in fluffing this up. So let's tap this keg. As always, the show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications so you'll find out the next time the White Sox sign a 42-year-older from a Dominican league as the starting left fielder. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Also brought to you by the good people over at Uncle Bud's on 94 or 9600 South Cicero. As I tweeted out earlier, got a little Christmas gift from them today. Brought me a Stella glass that says the OG Zoe on it, and it also brought me a 12-pack of Stella to go with it, which is now gone, and a bottle of Buffalo Trace, which I haven't touched yet. So more props to them. Taco Tuesdays, the kitchen is rock and rolling. And also, if you want to show love to the show, go buy some merch, you idiots. I just got my Pinwheels hoodie in the mail today.
Sharp.
It's nice. I got the lightweight hoodie. I'm a very honest person. The only complaint I have is it's a little short hood. Could use a little bit more hood back here for us cranially enlarged folks. But so in review, sportsmockery.com, Uncle Bud's, and go buy some merch, you fucking idiots.
And smash the like button and the follow button
and the subscribe button. All of them. Just do it. It takes 2 seconds. But
smash everything like Hulk.
I think Yumper just made a good point. That now they're speaking my language. NASCAR terms. The Cubs front office. They just got left. They're like TJ McLeod out there.
So
they're just out there to have a good time.
Here's the reason, although I'm not relishing as young Mitch is in the misery of the Cubs fans, but Mitch, you can chime in if you agree with me here as a White Sox fan. I feel like this is your Machado Harper summer.
It totally is. That is exactly what it is. Yeah. But of course, they're linked to 3 of the guys, and they were told they have a green light. Where we were like, "Well, Jerry's kind of cheap," but we had enough hope to think we're going to get him. Like, this is almost like, yeah, Jed's got a green light. All 3 shortstops are apparently in play.
The sick part though is that we already had a taste of this last year. Like they gave us like the appetizers last year. It's like but like the lockout kind of messed things up, and we're like, all right, fine. Correa's gonna opt out after his 1 year in Minnesota. We'll go after him next year. It's fine. And then as soon as the offseason starts, every single fucking national reporter,
Yep.
John Morosi, John Heyman. I mean, I guess this is another lesson. The guys who are on TV, well, I guess Jeff Passan's on TV all the time, but like guys like on the MLB Network, Heyman, Morosi, like we weren't seeing Jeff Passan and Ken Rosenthal talking about the Cubs like going hard for a Correa or Turner or Bogarts.
They had to have like some sort of advent calendar created for like free agency. Like Mondays, we're gonna link this player to the Dodgers and the Mets. On Tuesday, we're gonna link the Cubs and the Twins. On Wednesday, we're going to go with some teams down south, maybe Houston and the Braves. And then Thursday and Friday, mystery teams. Mystery teams have joined the race. And then you just recycle, you reshuffle, you start again on Monday. That was, Heyman, I think, really the Cubs have been attached to everybody, including like Brittany Griner. It's been insane. It's like even that trade is a possibility.
Jed would be too scared to make a trade for that.
That's true. It's true. It's two-step.
Fids, now
she was getting too many years.
Fids, now you and your favorite former Sox manager, Ozzie Guillen, have something in common. Ozzie Guillen wanted to fight John Heyman. So now you got a mutual disdain for John Heyman.
I don't want to fight John Heyman. He's the guy that thought the check swing should be called a strike, no matter if the hands move at all. There's nothing to fight. It's like beating up a small child.
I've had Heyman. I have not followed Heyman in probably 2 years. I don't see his tweets unless he tweets, what do you call Aaron Judge? Arson Judge.
Arson Judge. We had we're signing mutants today.
Yeah, I signed with a 1 year deal with a mutant option. That was.
What was the other one? There was another one from Heyman.
Well, John Heyman also had Coke Camels.
Coke Camels, yep.
Yep. Snort that shit up.
Freudian slip there.
I was hoping, because I think it was Passan who broke the career news. I was begging it for it to be Heyman.
So
I was like, please, John, let it be you, the first guy.
I follow pretty much all the big writers like Rosenthal. The only one I have notification or what do you call it? Alerts on for is Passan.
Yeah, because he murders people. He murders people.
He murders
people.
You're
getting baseball news and serial killing. It's great.
He murders people, but he's always usually one of the first guys, and he's always solid. So I was like, all right, I'll keep that on for him. But I forgot what Heyman did. It was like a year or two ago. And he said something like so fucking idiotic, and it was like I can't even remember what it was.
I mean, there's been a lot. Yeah.
Did you put a finger on one moment, or are you talking about a month?
I was just like unfollow, and I haven't looked back. I do laugh at the check swing automatic strike though. That's fucking hilarious.
Jeez, Pete.
But so for those of you that don't know what we're already just kind of rambling on about, Xavier Bogaerts is a Padre, Xander, whatever, fucking San Diego. Xander's such a San Diego name too. Xander, brah.
I've been my brother-in-law. His name is Alexander. No. I've been calling him Xander for years. I think anyone that's named Alexander, just cut off the AL.
Just go Xander.
Just go Xander. Xander's so much cooler.
His parents are big Buffy fans. They love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So Xander was.
But
he's from California.
He's on the Padres. Padres. That lineup is disgusting on paper right now.
By the way, they have three guys with huge contracts.
Yep.
So apparently you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
This is going to be, if you're a big fan of Shade, this is the episode for you. Because I feel like I could be like, yes, the sky was pretty blue today. Oh, you know what else is blue? Cubs are blue. And
they've done it like the three ways too. they extended their young star to keep him around because when you have a star young player, you do everything you can to keep them around.
You do,
even if they have trouble riding around motorcycles. And then after that, or like I guess right before that, they went to get their free agent star in Manny Machado. And then when things didn't go that well for the Padres, they're like, well, shit, we have to keep getting better. So they traded for one of the best players in baseball, Juan Soto. And then that still didn't get it done.
They also traded for Yu Darvish.
But after all that, they made it to the NLCS against the Phillies, and they looked at the team, They're like, we have a pretty solid infield, but how about we go get Xander Bogaerts too? Because the goal, I guess, for some teams is to get better, to try to win. Really like that from the Padres.
Really like that from the Padres.
Yeah, that's intelligent spending, because isn't intelligent spending about winning while spending?
And you are going to make some bad decisions along the way, like Yumper points out in the comments. Like Yu Darvish is still pretty good. I think they overpaid for him, but you have to overpay.
No,
Blake's now turn it around.
Yeah, like all free agents, you're going to overpay.
Right.
No. The San Diego Padres, they fucked up. They signed Eric Hosmer on a shit deal. They signed him 8 years, $144 million, and he was shit after like year one. And you know what they did, so last year, like year 5 of that deal, they're like, well, we don't really want this guy anymore because he's not that good. We are willing to eat most of his money, send him to the Red Sox, get him off the team, and then they just moved on.
And got Josh.
That didn't stop him from signing more free agents.
Yeah, and then they got Josh Bell.
Yeah.
I mean, but
apparently one bag deal, and you're just not allowed to do anything ever again.
Ever again? Yeah, no, you should, because the pattern is there. It's you're 1 for 1. Like in a game of failures, you're afraid to fail.
So Zander is in San Diego, and then all the hubbub was about where would Carlos Correa land. And in typical Boris fashion, there was smoke and mirrors and planted reports and teams in on it. And then at the end, the Mets came out of nowhere, and there was this beautiful story about Lindor saying to Cohen, like, I really want Carlos Correa to play third base. And he'd be like, all right, bet, I'm a billionaire. And then everybody kind of freaked out about that. All I want to know is if they sign him, maybe they can make McNeil available, because that'd be sick for the White Sox. But at the end of the day, he went to the Giants, man. And
hours later,
the Giants, what was it, 13 years?
13 years, 350. I'm glad somebody took my advice. I was saying the Cubs should offer 12 for 145. So
I had 13 for 400. That was
Giants. Another great example. Yeah, great team who won 3 championships in the 2010s.
Was it every odd year or every even
extended
year? Odd year.
I think it was every even year, wasn't it?
No, wait. Just
10, 12, and 14.
12 they won, right? Yeah, even, yeah.
For me and Aldo, they call that 7 p.m.
And then after that, they extended a couple other guys. It didn't work out. They kind of aged. And then they had this surprising year in 2021. Then they were, 500 in 2022. And they're like, well, shit, we have a lot of money to spend still. Yes, we're in a tough division, but you know what? That doesn't mean we have to quit. So they went after the top free agent, Aaron Judge.
3 wild cards.
They offered him, what did they offer him? Like, they offered him the same thing, right? As the Yankees, 360 or whatever it was?
I think even more, actually.
Tough shit. They lost out. But they weren't like, all right, let's just pack things in. We'll do other stuff. They went to go get the next best player available. This isn't rocket science, guys. Like, we've always said it, going back to the Machado, the Harper chases. And it was so hilarious seeing that clip you shared, Zoe, from the former GM or president of the Marlins.
Yep.
Samson guy. It was so hilarious how the way he was describing how he would negotiate with Boris is like what I always make fun of teams doing. Because again, I don't know all the intricacies that go of negotiating with like these, and like these are just major life decisions, right? For these players. I mean, it's the rest of their careers, basically. So like, so I'm sure it gets more complicated than just being like, hey, we really want you. What are you asking for? Here's what we got.
Well, you got to think too, Boris not only knows all that information, he probably is privy to more information about the actual franchise and the value and the inner workings of the franchise than the GM probably does, because GMs come and go. Boris has been a staple in pro baseball for decades now. He knows how every organization is run. He knows what's in, almost like in a sense, in their closet. He knows what's in their coffers. He knows that extra penny that's probably in their cushions in their couch. And that's what makes him more, that's why I guess why they hate him. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it because he knows he's fully informed, which makes him very dangerous because he knows how it really works.
And it is absolutely hilarious that while the Giants they're like trying hard for Aaron Judge, like they think they have him. They think they have Aaron Judge. Meanwhile, the Cubs are supposedly like talking to Correa. They're meeting with his wife, with Boris, making them drive an hour away from the winter meetings. You're thinking, all right, they're serious. Like they know what it's going to take to sign Carlos Correa, especially because those meetings took place after Trey Turner signed. Trey Turner signed for, what was it, 11 years, $300 million, and then Xander Bogaerts signs for $280 million. Like, you know what it's going to take to sign the best shortstop available. And I guess you can debate. There's always going to be debate. Like, well, is Turner better? Is Bogaerts better? Whatever. But you know what the market is.
Yep.
You said a key word. You know the market.
Yeah.
The market's not the same as in 2021. It's different. This year, it's a completely different market than it's ever been in baseball history, and it's only going that direction. So every big contract this year that anybody locks in 3 years is going to look like a damn discount because the market has changed now. Players are getting more of their fair share. Part of the collective bargaining fallout.
For the Cubs fans, Mitch, feel free. Maybe pour yourself a drink, Mitch. It's gonna be a long night.
Already there.
What are you drinking there, Mitch?
A little whiskey.
What kind of
Maker's
whiskey?
Mark.
Mitch? There you go.
But no free ads, though. Come on.
Question though, because this is something that I was pondering today. I was outside ripping a heater in the rain, and it dawned on me. Do you think the Cubs don't like Jed? Now, the reason why I say that is because obviously it got out to the normal talking heads, Kaplan, and all the other.
Well, it started with Kaplan. Let's be honest. It's
that Jed had this open wallet. You know, the tom drum was beaten again, and all this other bullshit came out that just said that Jed was free to do what he wanted to do. Blah 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 blah. Go get him, Tiger. And then he just whiffs.
I see.
This as an outsider, as a White Sox fan, as someone that doesn't pay as close attention as you guys do to the intricacies of how the Cubs work. To me, that just looks like they hung him out to dry.
Okay, so we've been talking about this for 3 years. Okay, as someone that's been experienced, that has been a part of watching the Ricketts machine work. When Ricketts machine wants an optics thing done, it always starts the same. It's a leak to cap, and doesn't matter if it's true or not. You know, a well north contract, well north of $200 million, that turns fans against it. It's a slow game. It's a long game. Same thing we do. You know, to make trading your MVP palatable. You know, the contract offers that are going to hold up against the test of time. And now you have this one that comes out. It leaks to Cap again. And Cap's the first one to leak it. And we know where Cap gets his information from. That guy goes on the radio. Crane Kenny goes on and starts talking about again. They open up the wallet. The one thing, though, that they are not addressing, and not a single one of them have addressed this. They keep saying opened up the wallet. They will not address the years. So he might have been given the open wallet to sign a really heavy AAV contract, but they won't let him go past 5 years. And these players don't want the money. We've talked about it before. They want no trade clause protection, and they don't care about the AAV. They'd rather have stability, security, and consistency in their lives, because that whole shit of going through trade rumors and dealing with all that shit is horrible on the player and their family. It's unfair to them. And when you have the no trade clause, when you have 13 years and you take $27 million, like say for example Correa took, that's a pay cut for that guy. He took it because, you know what, he's got a no trade clause and he's got job security, and he controls his own destiny for 13 years, because you can't make a rumor without him being privy and a part of it, because he's the one that controls whether or not he's traded or not. His family and him will no longer have to deal with that kind of bullshit. And that's the new capital in contract negotiations. It's not dollars. It's opt-out clauses and no trade clauses. And we've talked about it on this show a ton. This is the new gold in negotiations, and players are willing to take less to have that security than they are, because money at that point, 26 million, what's the difference between 26 million and 30 million? Like, really, it's all numbers at that point for these guys. It is. And security is, you know, peace of mind. It's priceless. And
I get that, because I'm here for 13 years. I'm going to be able to build. I'm going to be able to make a brand for myself. I'm going to be able to put down some roots and all that fun stuff. But I get all that part of it.
But the flip around was it was a hit job.
Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. That's responsible. Ricketts now have put someone between them and the blame, who has to go face the crowd, by the way, at the Cubs convention, not Ricketts. And now people,
I heard that's cool.
Jed's fault. People are blaming Jed completely. Like it's all Jed's fault. Like nobody knows that Jed had years or no years. Jed is getting blamed. It's all blame. They've nailed him up, if you will, on the metaphorical cross, and he's now there to take it while Ricketts hangs out by the cave.
Yeah. I mean, all the cool kids are canceling their fan fest this offseason.
We've been seeing it. I mean, I think it was both the Cubs guys on the Athletic who wrote about it on Wednesday. Like Jed's not happy about those leaks, and it wasn't just like the leak, because again, like we all know Cap, who's talking to Cap. We know it's Kenny, it's Ricketts, it's like the business side, the ownership side. So we know where all the info comes from there. And then
I had something in my throat.
So like we know that's where they started, but it wasn't only that, because it wasn't just like the anonymous Cubs have the checkbook open now. Jed has to deliver. Crank Kenny, that son of a bitch, went on the Cubs flagship radio station on 670 Score.
The brainchild of the tax evasion part of the Cubs sale, by the way, is Kenny.
That's a really good point, Kevin. Because I was reading Moody and Sadev Sharma's article in the Athletic on Wednesday. And I did not realize that Crank Kenny has been a member of the Cubs organizations for like 30 years.
Yep, he transcended Tribune. Yep, he helped facilitate the tax scam that was the Tribune and the Ricketts family during the purchase of the Cubs. That's a whole thing that came out a couple years ago.
Ooh, this is a good point. This is a good point by Joe in the comments. So let's say this works for the Ricketts. Jed's gone. They hung him out to dry. And you're in a up and coming GM, you're the new hot shit. You even, after watching how this played out, would you even consider the Cubs job?
Well, here you go. This is 6 degrees of separation. You've got now future possible front office guys that are like, what the hell? Why the fuck would I want to work with that Ricketts guy, right? Then you look at the players that are free agents, looking at the way the Cubs treated the guys that got them their first World Series in 108 years, the best core the Cubs franchise has ever seen, throwing them away like trash. Those free agents are looking at the Cubs going, why the fuck would I want to go there? Those guys are the best that's ever been a part of that organization and winning a World Series after 108 years, and they were just traded away like nothing, and they were happy to trade them away. You've got now, so those players see this shit, and then the future free, front office candidates see this shit. Nobody's going to want to work with Tom Ricketts except the fucking MyPillow guy. Like it's terrible all the way across the board. Bad boss, and then bad general manager kind of position that lies to you too, and treats employees like basically property, but preach family at the same time. It's all the way down. It's bad.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I was thinking about that too the other day, because like a lot of those players publicly did not have a whole lot of nice things to say about the way they were treated on the way out. I know Rizzo is vocal about that, and these guys like talk. A lot of them are like friends. They trained during the offseason. Like these guys talk, and so there wasn't very good reviews. Some of these free agents.
Cubs fans make this mistake too. Like, but listen to all the nice things that the Cubs that were traded said, and Theo said on the way up. That's called being classy. That's called not burning bridges. That's called just being diplomatic. Okay, don't take the words for the feelings, because you know what? Some of these guys actually have high integrity, and they're not there to like shit on someone. They're dusting their heels off and leaving town and saying goodbye. And you know what? You learn a lot about how people's characters by how they say goodbye. And those guys showed character in how they said goodbye pretty much for the most part. And it was only when, like, again, Jed had to go on the radio hours, at 6 a.m. on a fucking Monday after the trades, that they started feeling a lot more hurt, because Jed then went out there and tried to explain that it wasn't his fault, started shifting the blame on them, and then it becomes ugly. And then it also, the biggest mistake Jed made was that morning, radio run after the trade deadline. He did it. And then now Ricketts has done this, and shit, it's a job it's like that job. It's like a hand grenade. Everyone's fucking playing hot potato with it. I don't want it. You take it. I don't want it. You got it.
So the green light leaks. Kenny being like, this is what I was going to add to the Crane Kenny thing. Crane Kenny goes on the radio station. Not only does he say like, oh yeah, Jed Hoyer has the resources to spend, he directly puts it on Jed Hoyer, because he's like, he still has leftover money, because last year there was transactions that he didn't like a lot, so he can use that leftover money, because he didn't sign players that we thought looked good, but he didn't.
Here, fans. Here's the nail.
Part, though.
Buy some more.
Tink, tink, tink. The second part, though, and this brings me back to Jed. And this is why we always have to have a balanced life. Everybody deserves a blame here.
Mm-hmm.
Ricketts ownership has been shit since 2016. I cannot believe that the ownership group that was in control of the team that finally broke the longest championship drought in American sports history in a matter of 6 years has lost so much support from the fan base.
Well, you have to remember, although losses of biblical proportions during the 2020 season. So there's only so much you can do.
Now, to the point of what other GM would want to, or what other guy would want to step into Jed Hoyer's role. And that brings me to the problem with Jed Hoyer. Because Jed Hoyer, all this time, and here's the thing, the difference between Jed Hoyer and somebody new coming in from the outside is they don't have the PTSD that Jed Hoyer has. And this isn't an excuse, it's just what happened when Jed Hoyer was the GM, when Theo Epstein was still running the show. The Cubs, after 2018, everybody knew it, they needed to make changes. The offense was getting stagnant, there's too many of the same guys, they needed to make a change. He basically telegraphed from the year before, that previous February in 2018 when they signed you, Darvish, he was, I think, indirectly asked, is this going to take you out on the running for other free agents next offseason? Wink, wink. Everybody knew they were talking about Bryce Harper. Theo, obviously, he's not going to answer that directly, but he was like, no, we should still be in a position where if we can add a player that helps the team, we will. Everybody knew Bryce Harper was going to be the guy. We all knew it. And then what happened between the end of the season press conference that Theo Epstein had in October, and I think literally less than a month later, right after the World Series ends, we immediately know ownership was like, you guys want to spend more money? Sorry. Figure something else out. And that was it. And yes, give credit to the Cubs. They spent a lot of money. They were top 5 for multiple years during that stretch.
And it was none of their superstars.
But they never went all in. They never did what needed to be done to get to the next level to fix the problems. So Jed Hoyer's there. And this is where the blame doesn't go off Jed Hoyer. Because Jed Hoyer's like, shit. Well, if I spend now and I get another Jason Hayward, then I'm not going to be able to spend again. He's basically in the mind of I only have one shot at this. And then if that doesn't work, well, I'm screwed. And then they're going to cut off the money. Well, you can't do that. You can't be running a baseball team scared. This isn't Cleveland.
Nope.
You're not the Miami Marlins. You're not the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're not the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, give the credit to Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays extended Wander Franco to a deal that's pretty close to the Jason Hayward contract. So that's why
just even $30 million
else coming in from the outside. I mean, they're going to be like, all right, fuck it. First guy I'm going for, I'm going to do it. If they're going to cut off the money, I'll worry about that in 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks about Jed Hoyer right now.
And although you don't mention the season, but this is an offseason where the Cubs and every major league team got a $30 million gift from Apple in this offseason to just $30 million. Welcome back, right into the coffers. Where did that money go? Why are we afraid to spend? If that's 1 year less, that's one less. I mean, it's and some change for Correa.
And with Jed Hoyer too, I'm sure they reportedly had the offers for these guys for these guys. I'm sure they did. That's fine. But for whatever reason, Jed Hoyer just only wants a guy for his terms. He's now willing to go above and beyond. I don't know why. And everyone's brought up this point. It's dude, the next time you think that you can go all in, you might be gone. Yeah. First point. Second point, you're signing these guys. All the best players going forward are going to be signing 10+ year deals.
Yep, this is it. This is the market.
So even if those backfire, even if you get another fucking Jason Hayward 2.0 and his career just nosedives, let the next guy worry about it. Because guess what? You're probably going to get fired anyway.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yep. And that's it. This is, the old baseball adage: you can't steal second with your foot on first. You have to take chances. You have to do it. And how about this too? Just think about the market and how it's adapted and how it's changed and now how free agency is going to be pushing these, upwards of double-digit years in these guaranteed contracts. And then think about how, there are going to be teams, multiple teams, in the midst of this new craze and this new era that are stuck in 10-year contracts that they're they're not working out. And then it opens up a whole nother version of free agency where teams take on payroll, get some prospects. There's ways to play the market, in that sense too. But, the smart ones will say, I'll worry about that in 6 years. And then in 6 years, it's a different world. If you're successful, like you said, or you fail, you're out of a job, and who cares? It's not your money. If you're successful, you're a freaking king, and you get more money to play with. So I mean, you've shown that you're good with your dollars. So I don't think that he's being allowed to get the years. I think 100% that they're saying you can get 5 years with an AAV of up to like 30 or 40 million, but you cannot take it over 5 years. We don't want to stretch out these contracts. Blah blah blah. I feel like he's stuck at 5 years, and in this market, it's impossible to get any of these guys. We'll see with the Swanson contract. If the Swanson contract comes in at 8 years, then we'll know that maybe he did have the years. But
if they get him,
but that's the thing is, if they don't get Swanson, it's because they couldn't go past 5 years because he's supposed to get an 8-year deal, right? That's what everyone's kind of projecting, somewhere around that. So if the Cubs give him 8 years, then we'll know that maybe it wasn't the year thing. But if they don't and they lose out, we know that it's probably maybe the years thing.
And the other part,
a little bit of breaking news.
Oh God, Joe! I swear.
God,
White Sox breaking news.
Oh, okay.
Per Daniel Greenberg, aka Shy Sports Updates, guy just kind of combs the internet. This is actually going to be really just funny to even read. The Chicago White Sox are working on signing a left fielder per the Capman.
Hell yeah!
God, of course.
I would hope they're working on signing a left fielder.
So
I was gonna say, that is so fucking bad.
Team looking for left fielder vacancy is looking for left fielder. News at 11. Cap is hard news journalism every time out. He's so much better than those. I just think he's much better than when he's on those.
It was on
commercials. Like party.
It was on his show. Kaplan said it today on Rush Hour or whatever his show is.
Six Flags.
Well,
it's called Six Flags.
Going back to the way free agency goes, and I guess this goes for like the Cubs and Sox, like it's kind of concerning for the Sox moving forward because almost all these deals now you have to go north of $100 million. The Sox are one of 3 other teams that have yet to go above $100 million. The other teams are the Royals, the Pirates, and the Athletics. So when you're with that company, not a very good sign. So moving forward, I'm a little concerned. Like even if Rick Hahn is targeting a free agent too, that's the other thing. You can't get anyone of value not going north of $100 million at this point, the way the market goes. And his track record of signing free agents isn't that good. So at this point, I'm waving the white flag. I hope Eloy develops faster than we all think next year.
Like who would that even be?
Maybe Benintendi, optimistic thinking.
Oh, Matty Mitch.
The funny thing is, the funny thing is though, like 2-3 months ago, if you would have said the White Sox were signing Benintendi, I would have been like,
High OPS.
But now it's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's like sick.
Okay, if you guys are signing Benintendi, I think he'd be pretty close to like biggest contract in White Sox history.
They've never gone over $100 million, right?
$73 million.
He's gonna get $100 million.
Yeah, they're not doing it.
Jerry's got that bucket list going. Before I die, I want to make sure.
I wanted to add just another thing on Jed Hoyer and just how I don't fucking know, man. Comparisons suck, but it is what it is. So here's the thing. I was willing to give. I mean, Kevin knows this. I was willing to give Jed Hoyer the benefit of the doubt.
You did. You were always knee jerk asshole here, me, and you always, obviously having fun poking bear all the time.
But like my justification for that or my reasoning for that was like he was put in like pretty shitty spot because Theo Epstein did leave him with like, like we're not really gonna extend any of the guys who won the World Series, so you can handle that for me. Thanks.
Just didn't want anything to do with it. We said it on here.
Theo Epstein, love the guy. Not a single fucking pitcher was developed for the Cubs during his time.
Absolutely. The general manager at the time was a horrible drafter too. Like they were bad.
And then Jed Hoyer was also part of the problem. So all right, but fine. All right. So but Jed Hoyer, he takes over. It's after the COVID year. Fine, things were fucked. Cool. They decided just like how Theo Epstein came in and he's like, guys, we're gonna restart. We're gonna suck for a couple years, but then don't worry, I have a plan here. All right, fine. I thought that's what Jed Hoyer is gonna do. But then Jed Hoyer wants to do the whole lawyer talk. He's like, no, it's not a rebuild, it's a retool. Fine, whatever. At this point, I still don't care. Just give me a good team eventually. Give me a coherent plan. Give me something that I can actually follow. You're going from step A to step B to step C. I thought maybe that's the direction he was going.
Wait,
like, why else would you sign?
Along those lines, because this is like for those of you who have been longtime watchers of the show, this is complete like role reversal between me and Aldo right now. That's why I'm having this kind of way too much fun with this. But so Aldo, what's the plan if they don't get Dansby Swanson?
I mean, to be bad again, right? What is the plan? I don't know. The Cubs have the Cubs have Seiya Suzuki as the only player who's like guaranteed money past 2024, I think. And then it's just prospects. There's all this room to spend. And for whatever reason, he's not doing it. And that brings you back to the comparison with Theo Epstein. Theo Epstein, when he came in here, and he finally thought the team needed to do something to take that next level, guess what he did? He overpaid for John Lester.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think the Red Sox came in second. They were offering like John Lester $20 million less than what the Cubs gave him. And then you know what happened after that? After what happened with John Lester, Cubs had a good season in 2015, got to the NLCS, and then guys started signing for the Cubs for less money. Jason Hayward reportedly turned down like $200 million. Dexter Fowler came back. I think he was like on the verge of signing a 3-year deal with the Baltimore Orioles, and then he just showed up to spring training in March. He came back, took less money. John Lackey signed, took less money. David Ross,
Forgot about John Lackey.
David Ross, the same time when Lester came in,
Rizzo's
took less money.
Rizzo's extension was below market value. He took a pay cut.
All right, you guys are derailing from my question, though.
Sorry.
No, but I want to get to it because
he's circling back. He's circling back on the Oregon Trail.
Because now forget about like going all out for one of the shortstops. Fine, you didn't feel comfortable doing that. Like maybe you don't think they're that big of a star. Fine, I disagree, but fine. You need someone who isn't Yan Gomes to catch. You make Christian Vasquez, 2-time World Series champion, your top priority at catcher. You offer him 3 years, $30 million, but then you want a 4th-year option because, who knows what the market is going to be in a few years, and you want to control him for the extra year. The Minnesota Twins offer Christian Vasquez that same deal, 3 years, $30 million. They're like, we don't need an option. Just we want you for those 3 years, $30 million. We're flexible, whatever. Play with us. The Minnesota Twins have been above 500 4 times since 2010. Zoe, the Twins aren't that good. They might be fucking pesky against the Sox, but they're not that good. They get their ass kicked in the playoffs. They've
had such bad injury luck in the last 5 years.
The Minnesota Twins have
won 4 more games than the Cubs.
A giant 4. The Cubs are fucking losing out to the Minnesota Twins on free agents now.
That's bad.
Embarrassing.
That should not happen. That should not happen.
And do you know how do you avoid that? You have to overpay. Because guess what, Jed Hoyer?
Anything Yelp review on the catcher's Yelp there. So
hold up.
MLB Glassdoor.
Hold up. Let Aldo cook. He ain't done.
That was it. Jed Hoyer, these aren't the 2016 Cubs anymore. No one cares that you're the Cubs or that you're in Chicago. You're a loser team. No one cares. Oh, it's the Chicago Cubs. I want to go there. No, you're the team who's been bad for the past 2 years, who let the guys who won you a championship walk. You have to be like, hey, you want to come here? Here's another extra $5 million. That's what you need to do.
We've heard that on the show before. Especially if you're asking them to move positions, maybe play third base, where you had the 30th worst defense in baseball at the hot corner in 2022, when you have a shortstop that graded out as the second best, but now we're going to go after a shortstop that rated first best, but has a 116 WRC plus compared to Wilson Contreras' 138 that we lost. So you're right. You got to go.
But Omar Narvaez, come on down. I'll still be happy with that.
You got into the Zunino for a second. Like
For a second, I told you I like his power.
For like a second, I was like, yes,
Give me a guy who can hit home runs.
Yep.
I'm sorry. So, what was your question? That was my answer, I think.
My question was, what do you guys do? I mean, what?
Oh,
what's
if they
the
don't
plan?
get Swanson.
I was just looking for sign this guy. I wasn't looking for a fucking oral history of.
All right, so here's my plan. Here's my plan. So I'll start out with your favorite guy. You got to sign Brandon Jury.
God damn it!
You got a versatile
he was gonna do
infielder
it.
who can play first base, third base,
No worries,
second
but he's
base.
gonna want too many years. They're not getting him.
Zoe asked and Zoe now receives.
He wants 6 years. He's out.
If that doesn't work out, or actually, it doesn't matter because Cubs have to get like 3 guys at least minimum right now.
Yep.
So Brandon Jury, Justin Turner, Kevin, you started, not we. You started the Justin Turner market.
That's Dodgers captain Justin Turner to you.
All right, we'll just tell him that he doesn't want to hang out with Rob Lowe anymore. Come hang out with Bill
Sign
Murray.
him to like a 2-year, $30 million deal. I don't care.
Come
He's
get
still
stoned
good.
with Bellinger.
Just
option number 3.
Everybody's
DH.
getting sick here too.
DH. JD Martinez. Sign him up. He can still
That'd be a
hit
sick.
power.
JD Martinez on the Cubs so when I say it makes sense, a lot of times, just a little secret for everybody here, it's because I can actually picture it in my head. I can picture JD Martinez on the Cubs.
Playing too much MLB The Show.
It's JD Martinez
I don't
on
even
board.
think I've ever seen it on the show.
Who
But
else?
I could see him.
And then
Martinez
at
was
catcher,
great in Wrigley Field, dude.
Omar Narvaez, he's the best
You
guy
guys
available.
you guys just need a body now. Do you guys want a Sevy Zavala?
I mean, I don't think Mitch is going to let him go easy.
I would like a Colton Montgomery and some Twix.
Well, Zoe, you know what's funny? Remember that headline that you were laughing at?
Yes.
How we were in the Nick Madrigal for Yasmani Grandal part of the offseason. I mean, let's explore it. What do you guys want for Yasmani Grandal?
I mean,
Nick Madrigal and a half a jar of mustard pickles should do it.
Nick Madrigal, and you take that whole contract so that we can go sign other people.
No, dude. If you're getting Nick Madrigal and the Cubs have to pay the entire contract, you guys have to send over at least Colas.
he jumboed you. He went, no.
Beat it. All right, here, just throw a dart at your farm system, but you take the whole contract.
At your farm system? The
No,
Cubs
at
aren't
your
giving
farm
up
system.
anything good, though.
You don't give
That's
up.
what I said.
Go salary.
Give me the worst player on your low A team, and you eat Grandal's contract. And you
David
give it-
Kaplan.
No.
No, Zoe, you're getting it backwards.
He's
You're getting
electric.
it backwards. It would be the Cubs take on the entire contract,
Yeah.
and then the Sox have to give up a good prospect.
No.
Yeah, you just get a comp at Applebee's for a Friday night of like unlimited ribs and tater tots. That's what you get.
Catcher in baseball 2 years ago.
You need a
That's
catcher
my
bad.
Grandal for David.
He'll hit 20 home runs for you.
All right, fine. Just throw us cash considerations. You eat 75% of that contract, and then we go sign Drury and Benintendi.
Cash Considerations has a good arm.
All right,
He's got good feet.
take David Bowie. He plays.
That has all the money. He's got the green light to spend.
Hey, so really, we can model this deal after the Cardinals Rockies deal for Arenado. Yeah, we can just model that. We'll use that.
You guys can have PJ Higgins, some other guy who's not going to be good, and then
We'll sign Descalso and then send him your way.
I really am more interested in who the White Sox can trade to the Diamondbacks because I want one of those outfielders. Bad.
I think it's going to cost too much.
Oh,
I
I
think
want
that's
one of
the
them.
move.
I'm a Darwin Varsho.
All of them
Liam Hendricks.
All of them would be a clear defensive upgrade. Some of the offense, though, worries me because, like, it's a lot of young, unseasoned hitters, and there's, not a lot of power outside of Dalton. Yeah. He's got
Well,
Mitch.
He's a catcher, too. He can catch.
Well,
He's
Mitch, you wrote about it. Who's like the most realistic option for the Sox, for the Diamondbacks? Like, who's because
I
in
think
my
it's
estimation,
McCarthy.
the most realistic means
that's
the
like the least intriguing. Alec Thomas, I think, would be interesting just because he had a down year offensively, but he's so young, and he's a Gold Glove caliber center fielder. I think he did win the Gold Glove, so that'd be the guy. I think you could get. That would be an impactful player that you're not having to give. Vershaw's going to be. He's going to cost too much, but he'd be the best fit in the White Sox lineup right now.
Yeah, but Vershaw, I'm not even going to daydream about that. But I was thinking more Thomas or McCarthy. I think.
Why don't you
those
get the guys they got from the Mariners? The guy who won Rookie of the Year in 2020.
Beef-Wolf be all over that. I don't think they're going to just move him again. I mean, obviously, the biggest thing I want the White Sox to do is sign Brandon Drury, but
that'd be nice.
That'd be very nice.
By the way, I was curious because everyone's freaking out about the contracts. 10 years ago, the two biggest
Hey,
contracts.
I'll be right back.
The two biggest contracts in the 2012 offseason was Zach Greinke getting like a $147 million from the Dodgers, and then Josh Hamilton signed for $125 million with the Rangers. Those were the two biggest free agent contracts a decade ago. So, like in a decade from, like that's what Kevin, you brought it up when you were talking about these contracts. Like in a decade, these deals are going to look like nothing.
Yep. That's
like, okay, like I get it. Like maybe the Mets aren't going to go crazy every offseason, but like they probably do it every 3 to 4 years.
I liken it to this, man. The market changes and the market's shifting right now. Things age and sometimes they age well, sometimes they age poorly. I mean, look at it, fashion right now. Okay, if you would have told me, someone that enjoyed low hip jeans, that mom jeans were now the hot thing, where like basically the ladies are pulling them up above their belly button, like to under their armpits, and that's the new style again. That came back, which was a joke for us in the 90s, saying the mom jeans are now popular. Like things it comes in cycles, and right now the market says that you're supposed to wear many layers, give many years, and that's going to be a decade plus thing. We are in a brave new world where the players are starting to get more concessions from the owners because they're the actual entertainment, and they're starting to get more of their. We ain't even close yet, but they're getting more of their fair share. This is if this isn't an example to all the owner water carriers, the people that like to vouch for the owners and all of this. These guys aren't even getting a tip of the iceberg of the profits, and these contracts look almost like greedy ass athletes when they don't realize how much money these owners are taking in and putting in their pockets on a yearly basis. This biblical losses stuff is all optics. They're making baseball again. Read the bottom line stuff. It's a lot of money in their pockets, and people, now they're seeing it, and it's almost like shock to the system because these numbers are so huge. These years are so long, and nobody's so used to it. It's like sticker shock. Like when inflation hits and you're like, oh my God, I'm paying $4 a gallon. You're like, oh shit. Right now in Vegas, God, it's amazing. We're down to $3.80. And I'm like celebrating at the gas pump at like 7 a.m. The market will change. It will eventually change in certain ways. And right now, I think, again, the market is years. And then, of course, the concessions with the no trade clauses and the opt-outs. But you got to play the market. You got to play it. You have to. You have to adapt or die.
So I just watched the Kaplan clip from his show. It's a little bit more than that initial tweet. So he says verbatim, Joey Gallo is a name out there, but I've been told that the White Sox should have a new left fielder in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Ooh, speculate. Yeah. Go through the free agent list, though. Who is it going to be?
So in 72 hours, can we fucking roast that guy?
Well, the clip's out there. Sox on 35th just tweeted out the entire clip of him saying that.
Please don't sign anybody for like a week. Please, God, please don't. That's my Christmas present. I can wake up on Christmas morning, and instead of opening gifts,
well, I mean, there was
what's going to happen within 72 hours.
There was the initial report from Herb. Herb's guy told him Joey Gallo. Mm-hmm. So, I'm still going to believe that until it's proven wrong. But there's there's not a lot of names out there. Conforto's still an outfielder. Mm-hmm. He's out there.
Adam Duvall.
We're getting to the second tier now, basically.
Robbie Grossman,
Ben
Denny's still out there.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised.
Joey Gallo is a very, very White Sox signing.
Now, did Narvaez sign yet?
You upset with the Joey Gallo?
No, I don't think so.
Like, I think that makes perfect sense for what they're willing to spend. Like, obviously, it's not ideal, but I mean, we've said it before: left-handed bat, potential pop, and so at the very bare minimum, like his floor is better defense than anything the White Sox are trouting out there the last 2 seasons in the corner outfield.
So I decided I'm going to wait until they sign him till I convince myself that he's a good signing.
Gallo?
Yeah. I'm not going to put the effort into it because
you were all in on Gallo like a year ago. What happened?
A lot can change in a year, man. We live in a whole different world than we do 1 year ago.
We have nuclear fission now.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, actually. But
Side note for nerds, pretty cool.
Oh,
I wouldn't be mad
say,
at it. I just want to make that clear. I wouldn't be like,
right.
Look, by the way, guys with the last name Grossman don't get treated well in Chicago. I'll just be honest. We do need a new drinking game for the show. This is true. Well, who is our buzz name that like now we'll bring up? Is it Ricketts? That's too easy.
I don't really have a guy right now.
Nick Magical is still your guy.
Brandon Drury's my guy.
I do Brandon.
Wait, Zoe. I want that on record that even if he signs with the Cubs, he's still going to be your guy.
No, that's not how this works.
Oh shit.
Brandon Drury is the guy that I want on the White Sox, but you can drink every time I say his name.
Yeah, although you saw him step over the carcass of Nick Magical once he moved over to the Cubs.
Oh, dude, in a second.
He was like a Sam Jackson.
I have a feeling
when he stepped over.
Deep down, Zoe quit on Magical like 20 games.
No, I stayed loyal to the soil until he put on the different uniform.
Mm-hmm.
But
Kevin, I was gonna say
for the record, though, hold on. For the record, I wanted the White Sox to trade for Brandon Drury at the trade deadline. That's on tape. I said it then.
That's true.
Take that, or what does Kaplan say?
Take that.
Yeah.
What does he say? He says, "We like to party. We like to party. We." That's what Cap says.
Oh,
Kevin, you brought up how like fans are like shocked.
Mitch probably doesn't get that reference.
You're such a kid.
That's awesome.
Dude, we're old because I remember that one too. Like I get it, and I think we were all surprised by when like the Trey Turner deal when it was 11 years. We're like, what? And then when Bogarts got 11 years, we're like, wait, huh? Who? Why? And even the Correa one, 13 years. Like, yeah, I think we can all admit. And like, yeah, that's like fucking crazy.
It's a bit much.
That's what the market dictates.
13 years.
And honestly, this just reminds me of. It reminds me of when the NBA cap went up. What was that, like 6-7 years ago? And like I think one of the first big deals I remember seeing was when James Harden got like $40 million a year, and I was like, what? Like these guys are getting $40 million a year now? Like it was like you said, Kevin, it was a shock to the system because you're not used to seeing these insane numbers.
So,
but then that's become a normal thing.
Yeah.
To that point,
in 5 years, you'll be like, oh, it's no big deal. It's a 10-year deal again. No big whoop. We're going to go, oh, my God, I can't believe I even was against the 10-year deal back then. Look at these 15-year deals for these 22-year-olds.
So this was a big discussion in my group chat today, my group text.
And there you go. Well, north of 200 million. Well, north of 200 million.
All right, hold on. So curious to what your three answers are. When do you think we'll see the first $1 billion contract? Like how long from now?
No,
$1 billion contract.
$1 billion contract. Now I didn't say the years. It could be 14 years, $1 billion. But
I think that this year all the good ones, all the really good young prospects in baseball right now are locked up to what will be now considered to be low ball deals. So I don't think there's really a player that's coming up in the game right now that's due a contract that warrants that. Like if Mike Trout was coming up now, the timing is terrible for him, unfortunately. But if a guy like that was coming up right now, you could project that out. But I don't think there's a prospect yet.
There's only one answer. He's not going to get it. But if he was 25, if he was like a few years younger next year,
Ohtani.
Like who's to say Ohtani wouldn't sign like a 15-year deal, $40 million a year? That's $1 billion.
He was 25.
It's tough because I think a lot of it is like the only way you can get to $1 billion obviously is with like that many years. But like you're saying with the market changing and stuff, I think in time it's going to shift back where people see what a disaster these 13-year deals are at the back end when you have some 40-year-old that can't hit his weight anymore and you're stuck with that contract where teams aren't going to want to give out that many years anymore. So I think it's going to come back down to earth. I think right now it's trending what you need to do, but I don't see him being handing out 13, 15-year deals 10 years down the road.
But that's already happened though. Like the Tigers gave.
Yeah, and it's going to be like that for the next couple of years. But I think eventually it's going to be because once we see the back end of all these deals, like it looks great now. Like Bryce Harper, for example. I mean, he's right. It looks like a great deal now. You get to the back end of that contract, like a lot like Albert Pujols was. It's not going to look so good, and these teams are going to be a lot more hesitant to hand out a year deal.
Do you have the Pinwheels account up?
I think Correa's contract's going to age well. I kind of disagree on that. I think that he's going to be a guy that's going to play third base for 3 or 4 seasons or shortstop, and he's going to move to first base for 4 or 5, and then he can DH for. I think that he's a bat. He's a smart guy. He's in.
But
you know,
not
again,
all of them are going to be like that. I mean,
No,
sure, there's going to be a couple outliers. Of course.
I think with the big shortstops this year, those big ones, I think of the three, I think that all three, those contracts will age. All three will age well. I think all three of them. Yes, they're going to have a season or two mixed in those 13 years because that's a long ass time where they are hurt or they're banged up. But I think you're going to get more good years and competitive years, which means competitive baseball, which means opportunities to possibly win a World Series with those guys than without. And I think that, again, the money is they're going to, again, someone said something the other day about Correa. Well, what happens when the last 6 years of his contract, he's banged up and he's not great? And, you know, it's $160 million lost. I'm like, you think that if the Cubs win a World Series, that they're not going to make $1 billion on the profits of selling memorabilia, jerseys, weird fucking buttons when it's all said and done? $160 million lost at the end of a contract ain't a big deal when one considers the front side of that, which is the money that they're going to make. Now, Hayward's contract handcuffed the Cubs, but that's because Ricketts has no balls and they didn't make any moves because they were scared. But the fact is, Hayward's contract is usually kind of an outlier. It happens. But, I mean, I feel like, you know, the speech is overrated. I mean, again, the speech wasn't much of a speech in real life, but I like the story. It's great for epics. But the fact is, you know, it wasn't a contract that worked. But you got to do it. You have to do it. You can't win in a big market. You can't compete with the Dodgers, the Giants, the Padres, the Mets, the Phillies, the Yankees, any of these teams that are spending. Someone said the Rays today. Someone's like, well, the Rays do it just fine without spending. I'm like, have the Rays won a World Series? And have the Rays went to one World Series in a 2020 season that was shortened, and they went in 2008. They have been swept out of the playoffs multiple times. And that Moneyball is great to get you to the postseason. But in the end, overall talent is going to win out all the time. Most of the time. So you have to compete with what the market's doing. And if they're doing an arms race, okay, you can either be a superpower like them, like Russia, America, with nuclear weapons, or you can, you know, be some random third world country hanging out going, I will throw a grenade at you, but I don't have a nuke. And the Cubs don't have a nuke. And they're a big market team that should have a nuke. And they don't. And that's the problem with all this too, is that the Cubs and the White Sox, you want to have a nuke. Everyone should have we had a nuke. Made great coffee too.
Now, here's the thing. Like, I don't think we're going to be seeing like these long deals like every offseason. I mean, this year is like it's pretty unprecedented. Like
excellent free agents,
Judge, Correa, like the shortstops, the Judge,
big time.
But but I mean, to Mitch's point of like the market going back and like these teams realizing like, oh shit, these were actually a mistake. Like, there's plenty of examples of that already happening, and teams are still doing it.
Yep.
Like we mentioned the Hayward one. That's not even like a bad. Robinson Cano with the Mariners, that was awful.
Did you see Chris Davis? What the Orioles got to pay him for the next fucking 10 years?
Look,
all options are on the table. There's like a lot of bad contracts.
We got to go Bobby Bonilla to win a World Series, then do it.
Yep. I want to backtrack though, because I think I saw it in the comments. I don't hold on. Joe. I don't know who Joe. I think you're a newer commenter. Appreciate you getting in the comments.
Joe.
But I'm with Joe 100% about the 3 shortstop contracts. If I had to pick out of those 3, which one, not Swanson, the 3 that are already signed, out of those 3, which I think is going to turn out to be the worst at the end, it's going to be Trey Turner because he's so dependent on his speed. His game revolves around his speed.
Yeah.
Where,
really good,
as you mentioned, Fids, Bogarts, and Correa can DH or move to first base or whatever. No, I thought that was a very good point.
The other thing with Trey Turner, and like we saw it during the playoffs, Kevin, like the defense at shortstop it's not that good.
That was just in the playoffs. His
too.
Season, he was pretty good during the season. He fucked up in the playoffs.
Who?
Trey Turner.
Oh, Turner. Yeah. Well, you know what?
It's amplified.
Let's be honest. I was being highly critical because I wanted his value to come down so that he would be like signable with the Cubs. Let's be honest. He's so good, but he had a rough stretch. It doesn't mean that he's bad. And look, a guy that can get you to the postseason with less effort means that you're fuller strength in the postseason for max effort.
And
so
I think
it doesn't matter.
To your point, your guy Matty Mitch. I mean, if you need examples, Miggy and Pujols were the first, like the OGs of this new swing of these huge money, long year contracts. And we all know Pujols had a magical season this year, but we also found out that he's hitting fucking bouncy balls most of the time. But still, but the Miggy and stuff like that, the end of these big ass deals, though, I mean, they're not terrible by any means, but they're not the player that they were signed, a decade ago.
Do you know what you do with those? You know what you do with those contracts, though? You send them back to the team that signed them first, that they have that sentimental value with, so they can go out to pasture and team. Especially if they're like in the middle of a rebuild, you can send them out there, sell some tickets, and kind of have like a good happy ending.
I mean, that worked with Pujols, but Miggy's still in Detroit. He didn't go back to Miami.
No, that's true.
By the way, I was looking up because I knew that Trey Turner wasn't that good defensively.
Whoa! I think we found NASCAR Mitch's burner. Businesses for Liberty.
He's got the original colony too. Like, wow, on the flag. That's a strong.
Don't remind me or Trey Mancini.
I actually do think the Cubs are going to sign a hero, Trey Mancini.
Oh, now we're pumping up Trey Mancini. Okay,
hey, if you guys want to keep shitting on a cancer survivor, that's on you guys. I'm not. If you guys want to keep shitting on guys who battle cancer, keep doing it. I'm not going to be that guy. You guys will be
at a White Sox game, and we're out here shitting on him. I've said this before, though. Imagine the rain delay speech that man's going to give. You thought Jason Hayward was good. He's going to be fantastic.
Okay, can we do this now? Can we do this now? Can I do this?
As soon as the Cubs sign Drury, I'm gonna just shit all over it.
Guys,
is he like 1 year wonder?
Cubs fans, I'm sorry. Can I throw cold water on this? There wasn't a fucking speech. It was.
We already did this whole segment.
I know. I just want to make sure we got a decent captive audience.
Trey Turner.
It was a mumbling, jumbling, angry fucking let's get our shit together and go speech. It was not like don't think like Denzel Washington and Remember the Titans kind of speech. Don't think, that it was like the speech in front of, in Braveheart. It was like, let's fucking go. Oh, Jason,
you know why it wasn't? Because Trey Mancini wasn't giving it. You know how pumped up those Orioles were? You know why they overperformed this year? Trey Mancini was firing up before every other game.
The Orioles are another team I'm extremely disappointed in this offseason. I thought they would make a big move because it lined up perfectly, though. Like, you got a lot of young guys going,
momentum,
just stuff like this. You got a little bit of momentum.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like a Carlos Correa, but I thought at least they would go out.
But that's what happens when a front office decides that that's enough. Like,
they can. We'll cut it
off. You're cut off. Too many beers. Too many.
After Swanson.
I still think. I'm sorry to all of our new Cubs watchers and everything like that, and to you too. But I know I have Cubs for Swanson on our prediction thing, but I just, for some reason, I can vision the fucking Dodgers just walking in and just unzipping their pants and just dumping that wad on the table and being like, we need a shortstop, homie.
No, I think they have a prospect. Like the Dodgers Dodgers
have a sick farm system.
Not that they need to save up, but they're gonna get Ohtani and they're gonna offer him everything. By the way, Trey Turner outs above average the last few years. 2022 at shortstop 0, 2021 1, 2020 -3.
Appreciate you, Grant.
2018 2. So not that good defensively.
No, well,
yeah, but he slides cool.
He does.
Slide. He slides it fucking awesome. He slides way cooler than Javi.
So nice.
Crane Kenny probably saw
hit that like button.
John Hamm and was like,
subscribe, Grant.
We're not
like, follow, smash. Poor favor.
By the way, I do have to say, hopefully we'll get more into it. Maybe not next week. Are we doing a show next week? When's Christmas? Yeah, we'll do a show next week.
It'll be the 21st.
I have no idea what he's doing. He's trying to give people motion sickness or some shit.
Hopefully,
the camera is like a fucking spy.
Kevin's trying to get us drunk like he is right now.
Yeah,
I'm not drunk. I'm not there yet.
I have no idea.
And they wonder why people don't want to come to Chicago. This is what the fan base is.
We're really interested in this camera that follows me around.
We'll do one next week. I think Christmas is 2 weeks away, right?
It's next weekend, but no. But I was gonna say, hopefully we'll get deeper into it next week. But let's say the Cubs do sign Swanson. Let's be positive. I'm willing to be optimistic still.
Is it enough? Aldo, to you, is it enough?
Well, no. That's the thing. If they sign Carlos Correa, just Carlos Correa wasn't going to be enough. They still need to sign multiple guys. But my point on Swanson is, he does fit Wrigley Field nice because what does he do? What do we like, Zoe? We like guys who hit dingers, right?
Oh wait, no shit.
Chicks in the log ball, man.
Dansby Swanson has hit more than 25 home runs the past 2 years. In 2020, he was on pace to hit more than 25 home runs too.
Hey, analytics, Aldo, hold on. Analytics. A dude that hit how many home runs? How many he hit? How many in 2022?
I think it was 25.
This is where
20?
it's on Swanson.
You hit 25 home runs and you have a 116 WRC plus with 20 homers. What is that a Patrick Wisdom thing where you show up one day every 5 or 6 games and hit a home run?
If you had the over and when Fizz would bring up Swanson's WRC plus, you won. I had
116. Wilson Contreras 138. That's all I'm gonna say. With 20 homers?
All right. I can't believe I got to be this guy, but a Swanson, Horner, middle infield.
Very good defensively.
Is very good defensively.
And Bellinger in center.
Nico found his bat.
Middle.
And Swanson will be just fine, especially in Wrigley versus playing down in Atlanta and playing in those NL Central parks.
Up the middle. Middle.
If I'm a Cubs fan and remember, no shifty anymore. So you want to have very good defensive second baseman and shortstop. And I think that would put the Cubs in a pretty good position. If I was a Cubs fan, I would be pumped about a Swanson.
You can have
So riddle me this. How much will a great defensive middle infield that doesn't score runs with their awesome
Nico
defense?
can hit, though. We saw that last year. Nico can hit.
They're both equal, but that doesn't score runs. You're losing an offensive production that's heads above that when you let Wilson Contreras walk to the Cardinals.
Well,
So you can't replace a 138 runs created with a 116 and say that this is even. These things are not alike. Your defense the Cubs' defense wasn't bad last year.
You're banking that you're adding some other guys with Swanson, but you're getting a great defense. You're getting home runs. You're not paying them to be like some offensive force, but I think with the defense,
we're doing two different things, Fitz, right now.
Kevin,
I'm more looking towards the future because what's done is done. I'm not trying to dwell on what was done. I'm trying to more look into the
middle's great. The middle's great with Bellinger in center and those two guys up the middle. The middle is absolutely great. It's going to save some runs.
Mitch, I think you started something here, bud.
Damn right I did. Now everyone's catching on. Trey Mancini's a great man, and he'll be a great Chicago Cub. Damn it!
I don't want to lose 1-0 all fucking summer. That hurts worse than getting blown out. Now, and the Cubs don't have good enough pitching. They have 2 number 3s and 3 number 5s right now in that rotation. So having a great defense is good, but it's not going to stop the ball from, ending up in the basket. And that's where you can't defend, unfortunately. And you have to score runs to keep up with someone walking into a baseball in a home run era. So I don't know. You got to supplement it. We've talked about it. Justin Turner, some sort of, if you get Swanson, there are some options. It's not closed. I'm not dead on this whole offseason, but there are, you have to make, like I think I brought it up, JD Martinez, Justin Turner. You got brings up Mancini. You've got to have some bats that are going to go out there and at least produce runs and maybe be terrible. You need a couple of what's his names that all the Cub fans fucking went ape shit about every time he twisted his hips and then ended up going to the Reds and then over to the Phillies. I've already forgotten his name because that's how much I cared about him. But Cubs fans will still talk about him as the guy that got away because he played for two months with the Cubs. What's his name? Aldo Castellanos. Yeah, you need a guy that can just fucking rake. You need a raker.
I'd take Nick Castellanos back in a trade.
I would be fine with that too, but they're not gonna because they've been loading up, and that's what you've got to compete with. Is
Philly stack, San Diego stack,
Padres, Mets.
Maybe I'm biased because the White Sox didn't hit many home runs, but I heard he's hitting like 20, 25 home runs a year, and I was like, wow, that'd be kind of nice in our lineup.
Yeah, but if you hit 25 home runs, but you get
Tim Anderson was hitting 25 home runs, I'd be jumping up and down. And he doesn't even play as good as defense as Swanson.
Mitch, but would you jump up and down if he hit 25 home runs, but basically 60% of his hits were home runs, and they occurred once every 5 games, and the rest of the games he was a fucking ghost?
Is he playing flawless defense?
But he's also going 0 for days in a row.
That's why you got 9 guys in the lineup. You throw a couple that hit for it. You got Nicky 2 strikes. He'll hit for average. And then once every 5 days, Swanson's going to drive him in.
Okay. Here's that crap you ordered. No, I don't know. That's not going to work. Not when the team struggled to score runs last year.
He's
already a run scoring struggle
right now. So you get a JD Martinez with the Swanson. And I think that's a start.
I like that. There you go.
If it's Swanson, then I get your point. That's not a good offseason. It's not a significant improvement. But if you get him with a JD Martinez or some guy that hits for power, or Justin Turner, I think that's fine.
I agree with Yumper. Yumper here says, let's be real, Fids. It's not Swanson's fault the Cubs front office sucks. Major ass to surround him with a decent lineup. Correct. It was not the core's fault that they had no depth either. It's not the core's fault that 6 through 9, 7, even 5 through 9 really at some point was a fucking chasm. But it's just you're robbing Peter to pay Paul there. Now you need depth in a lineup, and this lineup is not going to be deep with Swanson. My Braves fan friends, now it's hard enough that I got to get fucked with my Padre fans and especially Dodgers fans out west. Now my Braves fan friends are like, please take Swanson, please. He's great defensively, but I don't enjoy watching him hit. And it sounds to me like he's like the Patrick Wisdom of the Atlanta Braves. I said it. I mean, because again, 94 career WRC plus, what is it? His OPS plus in the career is below 100 as well. But you got to score runs, and this Cubs lineup struggled last year scoring runs. Defense wasn't an issue last year. It wasn't like the fucking Keystone Cops, like Pittsburgh or like.
The Cubs had one of the worst defenses in baseball. It was an issue.
Was it though, or is it just the third, the hot corner?
No, Kevin.
It's short. They graded out as
Kevin.
best in the National League.
Kevin. The Cubs had one of the
Nick Madrigal
worst.
made only one error all season.
Nick
Hurt.
Madrigal played like 20 fucking games. Kevin, shut the fuck up, dude. What are you talking about, man?
I was trying to manipulate stats. Shut up. I lost the argument, so I was just making sure. I was just trying to use some shit.
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble paying attention because I'm just refreshing Twitter to see when the White Sox will sign Joey Gallo.
Nick Joey Gallo.
Sign me up for that guy.
God dang.
You guys don't even know about him.
Joey Gallo. Is that the new Arson Judge?
No, don't worry about Joey Gallo.
6'6" and a slappy.
He's from over there on like 26 and Troop. Yeah, he grew up in Bridgeport. He's gonna come up. You don't even know about Nicky Joey Gallo.
Excuse me, Holmes. Go fuck yourself. Okay.
Thank
you very much.
How old is Tim Anderson?
27, I think now.
Whoa! We are a factual show, sir.
So, by the way, I had a discussion today. This is
Tim Anderson is 29 years old.
Clevenger and Tim Anderson are going to get so much road ass this year during the season playing together. Those dudes love road ass. Sorry.
We don't spread those kind of rumors on this show, Kevin.
No, I'm just thinking that they look like a great team, like Tango and Cash.
He's a family man. Did you not see him with the All-Star game?
Clevenger and Anderson, Riggs Murtaugh. It's just like just works.
But
I think Marcus Semien was around 27, 28, 29 when he had his turnaround with the A's. Then he had a big couple seasons with the Blue Jays. So, I mean, there's the chance that what we've seen from Dansby Swanson the past 3 seasons, maybe he has turned the corner. I read something about how he was going to therapy to get over some anxiety issues. Maybe that's turned a new leaf for him. I don't know.
Did he find the marijuana?
I don't know. Not everybody needs that. The other thing, like you mentioned the 116, and that is his career year. And you're dogging on the guy because, he only shows up 1 out of 5 times. Were Sox fans complaining that Tim Anderson had a 119 WRC plus when he hit 309?
Don't do it.
In 2021?
Nope.
But was his defense the same as Dansby Swanson?
No.
Yeah, it was worse.
Real plays.
It was worse.
So, okay, you're making a good point here. But did the White Sox lose a guy in the previous season that was 30% more productive, 40% more productive?
But that's the thing. You just said that you can't blame Dansby Swanson about the front office. He's not replacing Wilson Contreras. He's basically going to be replacing Nick Madrigal because Nico Horner is going to move to second base. We're going to be seeing less of worse hitters.
So it doesn't actually fix the worst hitter in the Cubs lineup that they've been throwing out there because third base has been the problem. The second base hasn't been that big of a deal.
The worst hitter in the Cubs lineup last year was Nick Madrigal.
What was the worst by position? What was the worst? Can you actually pull that up? What
Defensively,
was the worst?
Third base.
No, offensive by position. Again, guys, that's defense. And I'm a defensive guy. Defense versus offense in today's game is far less value I think, than someone that actually puts up numbers. Like, I'm sorry. That's why you're willing to take a really bad left fielder and hide him there because he fucking rakes. Like, defense can be hidden or at least accounted for. If you're scoring runs, it really masks bad defense. I'm sorry. I would take average defense and excellent and offensive ability all day long. And I hate to say that because I'm a pitching and defense guy, but the modern league today, you need guys. If the guy can't even catch a fly ball, you're better off than a guy that can really pick it and is a question mark at the plate. I hate saying that too, because God, the two most important facets of the game should be defense and pitching, but it's not anymore.
So you should like what the Cubs are doing. That's
I should. I should. But I also know where this is going to end up. Like all of my damn free agent picks, last place. So,
no, but see, here's the thing, because like Mitch said, like they're not just only like if they do sign Dansby Swanson, it's not just going to be Dansby Swanson and Cody Bellinger. Like they're going to sign Mancini or like another first baseman. Maybe, hopefully, they'll sign somebody else too.
But I was still nervous with the second coming. So he should be able to be.
Well, I don't like. Why are you like okay? And then you're gonna have Matt nervous.
But in here,
righty.
So I actually have to bounce out. Got a little issue with babies though. Nothing crazy or anything like that. I gotta go help out with that.
I mean, he's sick. He's sick that the Cubs passed on Correa too. I get it.
He might be. He could definitely very well be a Cubs fan just to spite me, which.
Hi, all 43 of you guys are on the YouTube page right now. Oh, this is awesome.
I mean, but by this pace, like no one's gonna want to be a fan of either team in like 10 years.
It's gonna be tough. Man.
We're all gonna be fans. We're just not gonna spend the money. We're not going anywhere.
White Sox Twitter put up a GoFundMe to put a Jerry Sell the Team billboard up outside of U.S. Cellular Guarantee Comiskey Field, and it was like put up as a joke, with a total of 2,100. So you can get 2 months of the billboard, and not only did it fill in under an hour, it's already like over 3,500. People just keep donating.
With an hour, it was like 15. Yeah.
And the comments are just like, get 2 billboards, get a digital billboard. Like people are like dropping hard-earned cash to like.
I feel terrible to say this, but can you do this with a way that like half of this dumb shit is actually split and like goes to a charity? This is actually people's money.
No, he is.
He says like anything over, they're going to donate to charity, or if they didn't reach the goal, then they're going to donate it all.
That's good. That's amazing then, because you know what? Because that makes it even cooler because it's a funny statement.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's going to actually help people because you should be like your fucking dollars on fire to spike Jerry.
We know the guy that's doing it, and he's not an asshole. I mean, that money will be accounted for. And
who started it? Who was it?
We're not gonna. I'll tell you later.
Or where can people find the
Sports Marketing article about it? Shameless plug. There you go.
There it is.
Or it's all over Twitter. You just search Jay Reinsdorf GoFundMe, and it'll pop up the billboard.
I don't want to put his name out there because I don't know if he wants to be out there. So,
but support it because there's some charity involved. So there you go.
Well, yeah, he already said any excess money
So right now at this point, you're donating to charity and spiting Jerry Reinsdorf.
Yeah, he said. Well, he didn't think it was going to get there. So he's like, yeah, well, if we don't get there, and I'll just take the money and donate it to charity. But now he's like, all right, well, we smoked the goal, so
helping charity to burn Jerry Reinsdorf is a great cause. I think we should do some sort of.
Well, Jerry Reinsdorf is currently trending on Twitter because of this billboard.
Yeah, God, I hope he's like cognizant too. I mean, if he's not cognizant, like it sucks because he's just kind of like somebody else is doing all this.
He does not care.
Is he spry? Is Granny spry?
All right, but yeah, I gotta bounce. You guys close it up tonight. Don't forget to do NASCAR, Mitch's NASCAR minute. But
it's coming.
For all of you watching, if this is your first time watching, we appreciate you guys coming in. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. As well as like the show. Follow us on Twitter at PinwheelsIvyPod.
What's a good bar though?
The pinned. I'll get to that. That flew right over my head for a second. The pinned tweet on PinwheelsIvyPod helps you if you want to help out the show. You can also buy some merch. It's in the bio. And always show love to the sponsor, sportsmockery.com, and Uncle Bud's on 9600 South Cicero Avenue. This is kind of uncharacteristic for me to bounce out early, but I got to. So you guys are in good hands with these gentlemen, and I'll catch you all next week. Zoe out.
Bye-bye.
Colini out. I love that it's going to stay with the Betty White picture, though.
You see what you guys did? You see what you jackasses just did? Too much Cub talk, and you made them leave.
Yeah, our large audience probably would disagree right now.
Wait,
we got
Mitch,
record numbers going
I have
on.
something that we can connect on Cubs and Sox, since like the left fielder talk from the Cat Man is out there. I mean, Jordan Lazowski's guy is still out there. Michael Conforto, who apparently the Cubs are interested in. I don't know about that, but is he? I think we talked about it a little before. Would you want Conforto in like a 2 year?
Well, at this point, the fact that I haven't done anything, and right now the current opening day left fielder would be Gavin Sheets. Then I like Conforto. But if I'm being honest, I'm not as high on the Conforto bandwagon as everyone else is. I think you got a guy that hasn't played in a year, coming off of surgery. I mean, how great is he really? You call me crazy. Conforto would probably be the better player, but I would rather take a flyer on Joey Gallo at this point than Mike Conforto.
What about you, Kevin? Cubs, get another lefty bat, maybe DH a little outfield.
JD Martinez, dude. I don't
think it would make much sense with the Cubs either, especially if they're serious about contending. You get your Swanson, you get your JD. That's where you're spending all that money. And JD's not going to. I don't think he's taken any more than 6 or 7 years in his contract at his age. So that's right up the Cubs' alley. If the years thing's true.
Mitch, too, like you would say this as a Sox fan, too. Like, look, let's be honest. Getting to the dance matters most first, and then worry about everything else once you're in the dance. The Phillies this year, once again, proved that it's all about getting there first, and then hottest team rolls. And it's about getting there. And the Central Division in both the National League and the American League is always up for grabs right now. I don't think, the Brewers they added Wilson Contreras' brother, which is going to be a pain in the ass, but I'd actually way there for the game when those two play each other and the two of them fight like they were like kids. That'd be cool. But I think that both the White Sox and the Cubs have winnable divisions. I think that the East and the West have gone into this arms race, and the Midwest is sitting here going, you're going to get pajamas with bunnies, like a onesie, not the Red Ryder BB gun that you really asked for Christmas. And the Midwest is just wearing that right now to top to bottom, really. Now, the Cardinals win because they got the really strange contract stuff that goes on with having a couple of really good superstars, player of the year, the MVP, Goldschmidt and everything. But I think that the Cubs and the White Sox are getting closer to being on the same level. I know it sounds bad. I'm not saying this as an insult because I know that really associating with the Cubs is bad, but I think that the White Sox and the Cubs are both at kind of they're meeting at the same precipice. Now, the Cubs came from below, the White Sox came from above in this equation, but both teams are at this place where it's shit or get off the pot for your GMs and your ownership. And I think that this is a weird kind of two trains passing in the night kind of moment, which is, again, I know you were like, oh, it's so enjoyable to watch Cubs fans get upset. Yeah. I think that this is probably the first time I've seen my timeline pretty void of Cubs fans worrying themselves about White Sox fans and White Sox fans worrying about Cub fans. Everybody's in misery right now.
Everyone's miserable.
Yeah.
Everyone is miserable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's usually where my Cubs hatred used to come from. It's because all these bandwagon Cub fans would jump on the 2016 when they were all good. My grandpa was a lifelong Cubs fan. And I remember he was all excited when they got John Lester, and then he died right after that. And then the Cubs won the World Series, and then there's all these bandwagon fans that came on, and that pissed me off. So it wasn't even anything against the Cubs. It's more all these bandwagon fans that rooted for him from 2016 from the wild card or the NLCS or whatever. So that's more of my hatred of that organization came from. But no, I totally agree. It's right now everyone's so, because they're basically
we're all traumatized.
2 times in my history that both teams are around the same spot, because usually either one team's up, the other team's down, and now they're like you said, they're right. They're pretty.
Mitch, can I ask this real quick? A personal question. Was it did you lose your grandpa 2016?
2015, right before. Well, the off season after the 2015, the off season heading into 2016. Yeah,
I lost my grandpa during that same off season. So and he didn't get to see it. He was the 3rd generation Cub fan. So it was again, yeah. I'm glad he's not here to see this, because he'd be doing. He'd be railing about body language constantly.
Yeah.
Although, where I get that? It comes the 4th generation thing about body language in my family. Never give them anything away. But anyway, that's why I always used to get mad about guys swinging. So, although you're ready to come in with something else, I took it down to.
Oh, no, you're good. I was gonna say, I mean, they didn't get to hear about the legend of Jason Hayward. They missed that out.
At least my grandpa did. You know, I could say this though. My grandpa had autograph stuff. KB signed a bunch of stuff. Like he knew about KB all the way from start to finish, actually. So that was kind of cool.
Speaking of Chris
Didn't get to
Bryant,
see it. That sucks.
speaking of Chris Bryant, if the Rockies want to trade a contract, I mean that deal looks mighty okay now.
Yep. Come on back, boy. He's got
Major
no
question in the comments.
He'd wave it.
Would you, if interested, what would you trade for Ian Happ?
Oh, what would you give up? No. Yeah, I guess.
For the White Sox.
Trade him though? I know he's on the last year of his deal. I mean, that's the problem with the White Sox. Our farm system's so thin as it is. Unless it's like a stud, then I know one's gonna sign there like deep in the long term. Like I don't think I'm giving up any top prospects for maybe a for Ian Happ, Cespedes. Maybe I give you Cespedes.
Pass. Who is? Oh, Kevin. This has been brought up recently with the crazy shortstop market, and then the Cubs were talking about it back in November. If you're the Cubs, so think about it right now. If you're Jed Hoyer, Kevin, hopefully have a little more courage to spend. Would you?
I'm an overspender, so this should go well.
What would you start to look at for an extension for Nico Horner?
Yes, absolutely. I see this market developing.
What do you think a fair number would be for him right now?
So again, as much as I love Nico Horner too. So here's me trying to. People say that I go all knee jerk too. I'm going to go logical too. He does have some. There's a little bit of a health question mark, but I think that he's consistent. I think that he's going to be a guy that will. He's a great teammate. He's a very good person. He's a good human. He's going to stay out of trouble. I think you weigh those into the factor, into the equation, and then you look at his defense. Now, defense is something that, other than range, consistent defense, which is balls that should be fielded, which I appreciate more than the fucking cool ass plays. Can you make the routine? The routine from Nico will continue probably till he's like he could probably field the ground ball till he's 60 routinely, consistently. So that adds value. I don't think he's going to be a guy that I feel like, again, the reason I love Nico is he's the kind of guy that I like. He's a guy that's going to hit a double. He's going to get something started. He's a troublemaker. He's a pest. He's not going to be the game. He's not the guy he's not your focal point of your offense. He is your fucking spark plug. And I like him in the 2-hole. And I think that where he fits and where he slots, I think that he could play that spot. And I think as he ages, I think that his defense will not lag. He'll continue to play great defense. He might lose a little offensively, and you can continue to throw him down in that bottom third of the lineup. And I think because of the person that he is and the quality human, he's going to take it and do it, and he loves it. Like, he's going to be a guy. He's a guy that's going to be like a future manager one day. Like, that's the kind of person that Nico Horner is. He's a smart, intelligent grown-up in a game that, you know what, let's be honest, some of these guys are gifted and talented, and they're a bunch of like children, like they're babies. So like he's a thinker, and so I think he has. Again, that's why I like Correa is the same way. Like, thinkers have longevity in the game of baseball. Guys that just rely on pure talent eventually lose that talent, and then they don't know what to do with themselves. These guys use a decade of being talented and then figure out how to survive beyond the talent as grinders. And Nico's that kind of guy. So I think that I'd give him. If you're like, what you're saying, like how many years? Like, what would be like? Give me a year, because I think that his value probably is. I'd say it like, especially in the next like 3 years, I'd say his value is sitting somewhere between like 14 to 17, 18 million. And then I think that as he be a little bit age, I think he drops down to like 12 or 13. But then the market could change, and a stable player could be getting like $20 million a year soon. Like a defensive replacement might be a $10 million contract in 5 years. So
what would you offer him? An extension right now? I think
now?
he's 25. He's under team control for 3 more years, I think. So what are you offering an extension wise?
I would
now?
I would ask him for his, like, I would say, these are the years we want to lock you up. What do you want? I would take what he wants, and I would add 10%, and then I would do it. Done. Like, that's actually how I feel about where the market is. You take what they want, add 10%. It's not going to age well. Trust me. If they ask for 50%, then they have a sharp manager. But if you take 10%, it's gonna be a value deal in 5 years, regardless. Like, I feel like he's going to age well as a player.
Come on,
Not
Kevin. Give me a number. Give me a number here. What
I
do
don't
you?
know.
What are you?
I don't know. Like, what do you think that he's worth now? I mean, if Dansby
I have
Swanson's
no
worth
idea.
20, what is Dansby Swanson's quote unquote worth?
Swanson. Well, I think he's projected. He's projected at like what 3.5, 4 next year.
AAV.
So I think Fangraphs has each WAR. This is their old scale though. Each one WAR was equal to 8 million, but that's like from like 2014. Like as you said, the market's changed.
Right. But
You're paying more, so he's worth. I mean, I think compared to the numbers that we're seeing this offseason, I think he's going to be getting. I think Dansby Swanson's going to get that like 8 for 200 million.
So that means how many
So that's what 25.
Oh my God! So if he's getting 25, then yeah, Nico's going to get 8. If you offer Nico 18 a year for like a 6 or a 7, and you can lock him up, take it. Whatever. I would do that. I would pay him an AAV of like 18 million over 6 years, knowing that that stress is off his back and he doesn't have to play these stupid freaking games that he's about to enter into the no man's land, by the way, because he's getting into those years now where he's actually like arbitration eligible and the service time games are times up. And so, yeah, no, I think I would offer him like a 16 to $18 million a year AAV for like 6 to 8 years. Let him take it. And if he was smart, he would take it too. And you have a relationship that says, I'm here with the Cubs. And this is the moment that I choose to be a Cub and be a Cubs instructor once my body starts giving away. That's the thing is some of these guys you sign
special.
Yeah, I think so. But he's consistent. But you want these kind of guys in your franchise. You want these guys going up and down. Eventually, when they're older and they're done, like I would, who would not want Ryan Sandberg going up and down, teaching defensive second baseman how to field a ground ball properly? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I would take that if that was part of the deal.
I heard some horror stories when he was the manager of the Peoria Chiefs when I was down there.
I heard great stuff. Like, actually,
let's share stories. What did you hear, Mitch?
Yeah, what did you hear? I know he's a dick to people. He's a dick to family.
That were covering him did not like him very much. Apparently, he was not the nicest guy to the media down there.
My God, see, that's weird because in Santa Fe, or whatever it is, he was like adored because that was the thing. He would like just randomly invite people in the dugout. Like, and you know what? He's probably not nice to the media. So yeah, I actually get that because they also didn't tell him that his wife was banging Rafael.
And then Mitch. We've seen the not only big free agent contracts for position players, starting pitchers. Doesn't matter how old you are. If you're good, you're gonna get paid. Dylan Cease.
I think it matters how old you are.
Well, not to some of these teams. Well, not to the Mets.
Well, if general manager Mitch is running things, absolutely.
Okay, well,
long like you're paying guys for future. For future performance. Like, you're not paying guys for what they did. I don't give a shit that he's been good for the last 5 years. Right, what are you going to do for me? That's what I'm paying him for.
Well, this is going to be a good question then. The White Sox, we have Dylan Cease, who keeps ascending into stardom. What is their free agent deal? Because he's going to get to free agency.
Yeah.
What is Dylan Cease going to sign in? 2 years? 2 years from now?
No, he's done 2026, I think, is his list. So he's got 3 because he's got 2 years, a year of arbitration, which they'll.
All right. You guys still have some time.
Yeah, I was looking at that too because that was the other thing I was concerned about with the White Sox because it's kind of like having a quarterback on a rookie deal, especially with the White Sox. He signed all these guys to relatively cheap deals if they pan out as stars, Eloy and Robert and Moncada. Obviously, some of them haven't been as good as they want, but you got all these guys on relatively cheap contracts. Like, now is the time to go get a big free agent because once Tim Anderson's contract expires, we've seen the shortstop market right now. Like, they're not going to be able to re-sign him. You're going to have to go over $100 million to get Tim Anderson back. And until I see the White Sox do that, I have no reason to believe they're bringing him back. Dylan Cease, I know, is going to be as good as gone when he hits free agency. Scott Boras, client, and if he keeps improving with the trajectory he's going to be gone too. So this is why it's so disheartening for the White Sox. And I know they're top 10 in payroll, but for these teams, we've been saying, you said it too, you got to give them the years and you're going to have to go over $100 million if you want to get a stud. And that's what you got to do to push your team over the top, especially what they did last year. Now's the time. If you're going to spend money on a free agent, especially for the White Sox, you say they're trying to contend, now would have been the time. But long-winded way of answering your question, I would think he gets a decent amount. If he's going, I would think it'd be close to a DeGrom deal if he keeps pitching the way he does once he hits free agency. Probably, maybe even more. Who knows?
That was a good answer. I'm going to say this. That was a good answer, dude.
Kevin, how much for Dylan Cease in 2026? How much should Jed Hoyer offer if he's still around? He's not going to be around. Who's
free
going to be
agent?
around? Yeah, when Dylan Cease hits the free agency, how much? How
God.
much?
Give him the house, dude. Give him the house. He was supposed to be a Cub. I might give him. He might be the first. I would get drunk on a Thursday and then
First $1 billion pitcher.
Eating fajitas and drinking like happy hour margaritas. I'm like, give him $1 billion. That's me if I was Jed. So, that for the White Sox. If the White Sox let Dylan Cease go anywhere, White Sox fans should legitimately burn down something. Maybe just. I mean, it's probably
something's going to be on fire because I don't think that's going to be up to the White Sox.
No, they're gonna have to pick and choose who they want to resign too.
You can't let him go. Like they already caught. You don't let lightning in a bottle go, and he was already lightning in a bottle. No, you give him what he wants now. If they're smart, they're gonna lock him up now. Like that would be Rick Hahn could probably earn a ton of respect from White Sox fans if he locked up.
Well, if there's something he's good at doing, it's the contract extensions. I mean, Scott Boras did say earlier this offseason that they would be open to an extension. He said everything's on the table, so if they offer us a good enough extension, sure, why not?
All right.
It's gotta you gotta go for it. You can't steal second with your foot on first.
Follow up then. How much are you offering an extension for Dylan Cease right now?
Oof.
Good stuff.
That is a good question. That's tough.
Rough questions, Aldo. This is
like it's gonna be like right now. Dylan Cease's all-time like peak value. He's still young. He just came runner-up in the Cy Young. He keeps getting better. The market is exploding. Like he's an extension would be, as we like to say, well north of $100 million.
Oh God, dang it, Aldo! Why do you have it? He's $201 million. Can you just say something other than well north of $200 million? Can you say well north of $201
I would give maybe.
I said $100 million.
I was gonna say like.
Oh, they said well north. Well north. I'm triggered.
What did DeGrom get? I was gonna say
DeGrom got 5 for $185.
Okay, I was about to say for Cease like 5 for like 110.
That's not even gonna get like number 2 now.
Well, I mean, the difference. He's had one All-Star caliber season. Like Lucas Giolito had an All-Star year too, and then he came back down to earth. So,
that's true,
I think you're paying the guy for a few. Like he's had one good year. You're getting an extra 5 years under him, and $110 million is not like chump change. So I think that's pretty fair considering his track record. He's only had the one good. He doesn't have a Jacob DeGrom. He hasn't he doesn't have the same track record.
That's true. That is true.
I don't think they'll do it just because they have another 3 years and they don't have to pay him. So I think they're just going to ride it out with it is, and then once it all falls apart, then
there was one other topic I wanted to get to besides their free agency, but before that, I was going to ask. What was I going to ask? Oh, for another like extension thing was Ian Happ. Like we said, he has 1 year left. What do you think, Kevin? Do you try to do something? What do you think would be a good number for him?
Okay, well,
if you want him back.
Here's me. Do you want my mindset, or do you want me to tell you what I think that Jed's mindset is? Give
me both. What would you do, and what do you think the Cubs are going to do?
I would surround these guys with talent. For God's sakes, I would not bank on prospects. I would bank on sure things. I would trade prospects for guys that have proved it. But if I'm Jed, I'm going to sit here and sell this shit all day long. I'm going to stall, and then at the trade deadline, I'm going to trade for more prospects that are closer, so you can see like the quality of prospects that the Cubs trade for at the trade deadline in 2023. You're going to see these players that are like AAA quality, like the ones that are almost there. And then you trade Stroman, you trade Happ, you trade all these guys. If I'm Jed Hoyer, you're going to trade anybody that has a contract that's going to expire in 2023 or 2024. And then you finally stand in front of a microphone and say, I apologize for calling this a retool. This was a rebuild all along. But guys, next year, this team's going to fucking kick ass. That's what I do. But
I'm biased because I like Ian Happ. Good dude. I was working for a sports marketing agency, and one of their clients is First Tee. It's like charity in Chicago. They have like youth golf like clinics and whatever. And Ian Happ, people that donated a bunch of money to it. He was like helping them do a break ground over the off season. He does a bunch of work over there. He's a good dude. So I would pay him.
Can I say this? The Cubs I will not attest to Javi just because, again, I don't know what he does with his friends. So I would just go with how he was with the people that I know. But guys like Rizzo, KB, Schwarber, these guys all did the same thing too. They were. So that's the hard part, is that Ian Happ is a good dude. He's a great dude. He's a fantastic person, human. And these guys have to linger out there and deal with all this bullshit. Like, because Ian Happ's now is going to go through, he got a taste of it this year, but now he's about to go through trade deadline extension hell in 2023. He's the guy that's going to be the new Wilson Contreras, where he's going to get like 75 fucking hugs, and he's not going to know if he's supposed to piss or shit, because he might be traded and he might not. Who knows? Because the Cubs aren't going to extend him. So,
well, I think the first couple of months, yeah, I mean that's true. I think the first couple of months will be telling too, to see how well because like last year was his best. That was his career.
But to force them to say, hey, you're playing for something, but you're not playing for an actual win. You're playing for value. Because if the Cubs don't intend to win, you're playing the game because you love the game, and I respect that forever, because the game, you play the game, period. That's it. You play baseball hard. There's no other level. Even if you're on the worst team in baseball, you play the fucking game every day because you're goddamn blessed to play the game every day. It's the best thing in the world. There's nothing else that compares to playing the game of baseball. But it's unfair to these guys to expect them to play with the passion that it's like, again, it's like asking an artist to paint a bunch of duplicates of their artwork. Like it eventually it's going to lose the luster, and these guys don't deserve that. A guy like Ian Happ deserves to play hard baseball as a contender.
Well, if you were gonna extend him, like say they think he's a part of their contention plans, I think they would extend him during the offseason, because otherwise, say he comes out there and they're like, they're underperforming, but he's off to a hot start. They're not going to do the same thing with Wilson Contreras again. I think they would try and trade him while his value's high. They're not getting enough. Yeah, if he's
Aldo, clip this. If the Cubs care about Ian Happ and his mental health, they will extend him before the 2023 season starts, so that he doesn't have to deal with trade rumors for half of his season when he's supposed to also be helping the team win ball games.
They're not going to do that, though.
I know. God, does that sound like weird logic? And that's not going to be what happens.
Sense. But like that's why I think if they feel part of an all-star, then they would extend him during the offseason.
I know. And we're going to expect him to be an all-star with raising a family, a young family. He's a young dude who just has a baby family. God, they're not placeholders. They're not PlayStation game pieces. They're human beings, and people, you need to make them comfortable. You want the best. Like Stanford did a study 2015 that said about routine and comfort, and their athletes performed at a higher level when they were getting 9 hours sleep, which is a thing. They were also turning off their portable devices by 9 p.m. and reading analog literature, like whether it was from a magazine or a book, it didn't matter. They turned off their phones. And the last thing was comfort. They didn't have to worry about their position or their status within the program. That was the number one high production value part of that study, where people were like, well, so you're saying that if you're comfortable, you play better? You want Ian Happ to be his best self? Make him comfortable. Lock him up. Don't let him deal with this bullshit. Let him be himself and know that he doesn't have to play under an umbrella of trade. That's it. That's why the no trade clause. That's it.
I think Stanford did a prison experiment too.
Yeah, I was actually there. Oh my God.
How was the movie, Kevin? Did you watch that?
I saw the Sundance premiere of that. I was at Sundance premiere for that.
There you go.
Amazing. It was a great flick, by the way. And that was a fucked up experiment too, by the way.
Yeah, it was fucked up. Yeah, I didn't report on
this.
that.
This was based on a survey they gave their athletes, and they said, here is your regiment. Please follow this. And then they gave half the kids, I think, do what the fuck you want. Hey, go hit that kegger.
And then the other half they gave Jed Hoyer as their manager.
And they're like, this is a placebo beer. This is it's just a no duels. But
How
no.
old is Ian Happ? I think Ian Happ is only like 27.
Yeah, so 27, I think.
Ian Happ, I think.
Just make him happy.
Like
Let him just
$5 $90 million. Is that too much?
And he's a brand. Like, God, he has an Instagram brand. He's got a coffee brand. He's got like, let the dude just stick. Again, the Cubs fucked up too. They lost money on Red Bull. Do you think Red Bull wants to deal with the Cubs now that they like fucked over? They're like one of the Red Bull's best like spokespeople? No, like you're losing brand placement, which actually decreases your fucking ability to take in income, which then you can't sign players because you're pushing people away. How about you just don't be a dick? Is that better? No.
One last thing before we get to the NASCAR minute.
Oh, yeah.
Mitch, how worried are you that Lance Lynn is going to get injured, or his participation in the World Baseball Classic is going to lead to injury?
I am so worried. Now, call me unpatriotic. I don't care. I don't give a shit about the World Baseball Classic. Like, sure, I'm rooting for the U.S. I'm going to watch it. But if they lose, I don't give a fuck. Lance Lynn pitching in that, I am so worried about that. This man's supposed to be a workhorse. He's coming off a year that he struggled because he had knee surgery the year before. I want him healthy and rested, and we already have enough guys that are injury prone. Clevenger doesn't throw a whole lot of innings historically. Kopech's going to get hurt probably by April. We need Lynn to be a workhorse. I can't have him wasting innings out there getting lit up by the Dominican Republic. Like that, I was not excited about that news. Like Eloy, he needs the at-bats. He's probably not going to play that much anyway. Fine. Robert, same thing. You know, you're going to be out there. You know, good practice. Lance, we need the arm. I'm hoping Evaldi's eating a lot of innings because I don't want to see Lynn on the mound all that much. Last White Sox pitcher that was there, Nate Jones. You know what happened? Midway through the year, arm problems. I'm not saying it's correlated.
Quintana.
Oh, yeah, Quintana like there too. Yeah, that's true.
That's what the Cubs traded for, was the guy in the World Baseball Classic. But you're right. And do you want that? Oh, do you want him really? Do you really want him going out there? Like,
no.
You really?
This is terrible. I'm gonna root for him. It's like the same thing with the All-Star game. Like when they're okay, he's like one of our guys.
Pins and needles.
You want him to do well, but like
it's pins and needles. Like, God, please stay healthy. Please stay healthy. Like every pitch, like okay.
I hope they show him in the first inning so they can get him out of there quick.
Score 12 runs. Just fucking bring on the Johnny Holstaff. Let's go.
That's a lot of contact.
I think it's different for pitchers too, right? Because the offensive guys that you're less likely to get hurt as a position player than a pitcher because you're not going to hurt your rotator cuff.
Right.
If you strain your ankle, it's because you're a terrible base runner. Let's be honest. So that's
they do have the inning, or is it a pitch limit? I know because Quintana had a perfect game, and then he had protection pitch limit or whatever. So I mean that's
it's a good thing. It's you're more inclined to get hurt as a pitcher regardless. So like guys that go rake. It's like the for guys that are hitters, it's like the All-Star game in the NBA. It's like it's a shooter's game, and so you want to protect your arms. Like if I have a pitcher that's going to pitch in the World Baseball Classic, I'm more concerned than I am with a guy that's going to go play third or left field or unless his name's Eloy, which I'm concerned that Eloy is going to play defense in the World Baseball Classic. I would be concerned about that.
Eloy, you're always worried. Doesn't matter if he's playing in Charlotte or for the World Baseball Classic. They're always worried about him. Like, that's not going to change.
God, DH him, please.
He does, especially because, like, last year, I think he lost a lot of because he admitted he was playing hurt the second half of the year. And it affected his swing. It affected the way he was swinging. So him not as much just because he's not as injury prone as Jimenez is. He's still got, if he's getting a couple at bats, I think that'll be good for him. So him, I'm Eloy though, and Lance, a little more concerned about.
And then for the Cubs, I think Seiya Suzuki is playing for Japan. So there's that. I think, like you said, Kevin, with pitchers, you're just obviously more worried. And like you said, Mitch, Lynn already had the knee issue last year. His season was weird because he had the delayed start because of the surgery. And then because of the delayed training, he was bad the first month after he came back.
Right. It took him until he got healthy to figure his stuff out, especially for a team that, they're not making any upgrades this offseason. They're still in their quote-unquote contention window. They are banking on the fact that guys are going to stay healthy this year. That's a healthy Robert, a healthy Jimenez, that basically is an addition to the lineup. So you're holding your breath to it. I will say this, though, for the World Baseball, it is fun to watch. I do remember watching that 4 years ago, and it is electric. It is fun baseball to watch all those. But I'm going to be a little concerned this year.
Rightfully so.
All right, and now for everyone's favorite segment, or I think our most recurring segment on the show, because that's how organized we are.
Ever since Nuke's teabag segment that we stopped because it was getting X'd out, but that's why he's not here today.
Everyone get ready for the NASCAR minute.
All right. For this week's NASCAR minute, no huge news. I mean, Kyle Busch got Cheddar's as a sponsor.
Hell yeah.
Cheddar's like the crackers?
Yes, but not a whole lot of NASCAR news to get excited about. So we had another mini competition, somewhat baseball related this week. Now, I'm not going to lie. This one was contingent because it was a Team Cubs versus Team Sox for said segment. So we can either push it off till next week, or if one of you wants to take the Sox side, you can.
I'll be Sox.
All right.
Look, I've been told to stay out of White Sox business, but I'm going to take this now. Let's go.
There you go. Okay, so as you know, in NASCAR, it's very contingent on numbers. Hence why it's same like baseball. You got retired numbers. I got my Mark Burley 56 shirt. We'll go a little trivia for you first. Aldo, can you name all the Cubs retired numbers? You don't have to include Jackie Robinson, but if you want to, you can.
Oh, shit. So you got 31, 10, 26. What was Sandberg? Shit, why can't they remember Sandberg? 23.
Hell.
23. Who am I missing? Ernie Banks, 14.
Yep. It's tricky.
Is there another one? Oh, shit. It's the old... Oh, man. I know Maddox.
It's another 31.
Yeah, well, Maddox and Ferguson Jenkins, they're both 31.
Yep. Yeah, that's
anybody else? Those are the only ones I can think of.
Surprisingly, not as many as I thought. Yeah, Ron Santo, number 10. Ernie Banks, 14. Ryan Sandberg, 23. Billy Williams, 26. Oh, did you get Billy? You said Billy Williams.
Yeah, 26.
31, Greg Maddox. 31, Fergie Jenkins. And then 42, Jackie Robinson. It's a little tougher for you. I know you're not a Sox guy, but can you name any of the Sox retired numbers? Let's see off the top of your head.
First off, I'll go with Carlton Fisk, just because it's a guarantee.
Yep.
He was the inspiration for the major league character of.
My brother was a catcher in high school, and that's why he picked his number, was because Carlton Fisk, 72.
Well,
very obscure.
My catcher Stosh in college, big dude, also weighed about 250, 72 every time. Pudge, he wanted to be called Pudge, but he was called Stosh instead. And he was Now Mark Burley was 56, so I'll take that. That's easy.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
Trey Thomas is 35. That's easy.
Yeah,
35 Joe. That's the same kind of number that if you've seen Cool Hand Luke, you know what that I'm talking about here. Nellie Fox was 2. Harold Baines was 3. I know that.
Yeah.
Konerko was 14.
Yep.
Now I get a little bit deeper, but I am a number 9er, and I grew up in Chicago knowing enough that 9 was a special number, so that's Minnie Minoso.
Correct.
I'm pretty much stuck there, though. I got nothing else.
Number 4, Luke Appling, his number was retired. And then Ted Lyons and Billy Pierce, 16 and 19, were the other 2. So, as like with retired numbers, NASCAR, the numbers are always big. They got those famous numbers, like the number 3 car, legacy number, just the number 2 car for Penske, same thing. So, we're going to go through. It's going to be a best of 7 series. I was going to have the White Sox versus Cubs. You can pick a retired number for each one, each matchup. We'll alternate turns. And I will name the driver who had the most success in that car and how many wins that car's had in NASCAR history. Whichever one's higher, you win the round. Best of 7 series. We'll go the Cubs. All right, 42 you can't use for the White Sox. The Cubs, you're allowed to use 42 since you have less numbers to choose from. Like I said, best of 7 series. Good luck to both of you. We'll go Fids. I'll let you choose your number first, although you can match them based off that, and then we'll sweat. Well, actually, we'll go like a baseball series. You'll get 2 where you pick first, although you get 3 where you pick first, and we'll go back.
All right.
So who would you like? Which number would you like first? If you need me to repeat them, it's 2, 3, 4, 9, 11, 14, 16, 19, 35, 56, and 72 for the White Sox.
9, 19.
You check one first. You can go
9. Sorry. I was.
Yeah, Grid. You want 9 first?
Yeah, you're seeing this.
You're going number 9. Aldo, what are you taking?
Let's go 31.
30. 1. All right.
Maddox number there.
So 19, the most famous driver or the most successful driver, I guess. To 9. Excuse me. 9. Yep. Sorry. So number 9, Bill Elliott, the most famous driver. I guess he had the most starts in that car and has had 68 wins.
Oh,
and then, although you went with 31, correct? Or you went with what'd you go with?
31. Yep.
31. You have Jeff Burton and NBC. The car's only had 8 wins, though. It's not really, the 31 car is struggling. So, Fids, you take game 1. You also get the first choice here for, I guess, matchup number 2 of the series. What number?
By the way, for everyone watching and listening, the amount of effort and time to come up with these NASCAR minutes from Mitch the past 3 weeks has been the most preparation that the rest of us have done in the past 4 years.
There you go.
We're just trying to get to the microphone on time, most of the time. We're just are you going to be there at 5:55 or 8:55, whatever?
It's off season. We got to kill some time for the NASCAR.
Shout out Mitch.
The best part about the off season here is that this is Mitch. You've done. All right, so now I got to choose.
Yep, you cannot take number 9.
So then I'll take 19. Since
19.
That'll fill out the because I didn't say anything after 19, right? I'm gonna pause.
Right. Aldo, you got me.
I'll go with. Let's do 42.
Ooh, all right, taking the 42.
Good number too.
Fids, you got Martin Truex Jr., most successful driver in the 19 car. He's still driving the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. That has 20 wins. 42 car. Lee Petty, the grandfather of the great Kyle Petty, the king. And that car has had 75 wins. It hasn't been a whole lot of success as of late, but Aldo will take number 2. You're tied at 1.
Get a square. Hold on.
So although you got shift your whole, you get the first pick here.
Let's go with 26.
26. All right.
What's left? What do we got left?
You got 2, 3, 4, 11, 14, 16, 35, 56, and 72. You have the advantage because you got a lot more numbers to choose from. Although it's an uphill climb.
And my love for the number 35, which is Cool Hand Luke's.
All right.
Badge when he checks in 35. So let's go with number 35. We'll do that because I have no idea where this is going. So
unfortunately, Fitz, what we have here is a failure to communicate. It did not work out for you. Frank Tom's 35 car. There's not a 35 car anymore. Most starts with that was Benny Parsons, but there has not been a win in the Cup Series. 35, 0 wins for that one.
For Aldo here.
You had Billy Williams with 26. So 26 car. Most starts for the 26 was Junior Johnson. There's also not really a 26 anymore. Daniel Kvyat drove it a couple times, but it's had 22 wins in Cup Series history. So Aldo, you get the victory there. 2-1 you. Your choice here with the chance to go up 3-1.
Let's go with. Let's go.
I thought we're going by wins.
14. All right.
Ernie Banks.
All right, Kev.
So what's left?
You got 2, 3, 4, 11, 14, 16, 19, 56, 72. Or you said you don't have 19 anymore. You use 19.
Right. But 72 would be so appealing, but I think I'm going to go with I'm going to go with 3. 3? That was a good choice.
Oh, damn it, that's not fair.
That was very unfair. So
I'm trying to even think of numbers that I remember from guys.
It's a shame too, although you had a good one there. So 14 car, most successful driver was Tony Stewart, and he got the majority of the wins. That one has 45 wins. Unfortunately for you, he went with number 3, the famous number 3.
Marcus Stroman.
Dale Earnhardt, 101 wins in the number 3 car, and the majority came from him. So you got the victory there. So we are tied at 2, although you get one more. I guess we're doing a baseball series. It's 2-3-2, correct?
That's why you don't believe in Marcus Stroman.
So you don't believe in Marcus. You are choosing first here.
So I guess let's go 23.
All right, 23.
Son of a bitch. All right. I'm gonna drop in 2 because it's right below 3.
All right. That's another good one for you. The 2 is a Penske one. That's an unfair one because that's another one that's been around a long time. Rusty Wallace had the most starts in the number 2 car Brad Keselowski famously drove that. 101 wins also for the number 2.
Matt Zawowski.
Yeah, although you had the
Polish.
You had the 23, which is now driven by Bubba Wallace. So he picked up another win last year, I guess, at Talladega. But unfortunately, Frank Mundy, he has the most starts that one. And it's only had 4 wins.
Ooh.
So up 3-2, chance to close it out, Fid. You get first pick here.
So what do we got numbers left now?
You got 72, 56, 16, 14, 11.
Aldo took 14, right?
Yes, both have 14. So I guess that's kind of So we won't use 14 because it'd be the same answer. So you got 4, 11, 16, 56, and 72.
All right, so I'm traumatized. So I'm going to go with the number that actually scarred me the most, so I can lose this and be scarred again. I'll go with number 4, which is
number
all-time leading quarterback in interceptions.
There you go.
And all-time leading nightmare-inducing son of a bitch with the open fly jeans. So,
Am I on number?
I think you're on your. Oh yeah, well, you still got one more. You still got another one you can choose.
Pick Favre's number, so I'm screwed.
31. Can I pick 31 again?
You did.
You did go 31. I guess you technically could go. You could go 31 again if you want.
Wait, can you double back again? I'll just take 3 all the time.
Well, the Cubs do have 2 players with the retired number 30.
You'd only have one more to go if it was a game 7.
Let's do 31.
31. All right. So Fergie, we'll go 30 Jenkins, 31. As a reminder, that was Jeff Burton with the 8 wins. So if you remember his 8 wins, probably would have chosen that one. And Kev, you're going to win. You had Kevin Harvick. He has the most starts in the number 4, and that car's had 82 wins. So you are the winner. Congratulations on winning the White Sox Club's retired number car crossover. That is the NASCAR minute.
It was good.
That was good. Good job.
Good job, Kevin. Export. Let's go export it out.
Few numbers the Cubs have had retired, because like the White Sox retire a bunch of them. The Cubs, it shocked me that it was that small of a list.
Quick jersey number question before we sign out here. Mitch, do you like the high numbers on the White Sox? Like when a Braves 79?
Yeah. So at first I hated it, especially like the 84 with Dylan Cease. Yeah. But like with Braves' explanation, like I kind of like it now. I dig, because his was like no one else is going to wear 79. It's going to be unique. And Dylan Cease's, I think, was some yoga thing too. So like at first it was unusual, and now I'm used to seeing it. I kind of like it because no one else wears it. Now you think 84, that's Dylan Cease. 79, there's no other 79 but Jose Abreu.
Eloy
like
74.
NASCAR, you could have like the same number and you think multiple different drivers.
All right. What do you think, Aldo? Like you asked that question. Like I don't give a shit. You want to? My favorite player is the guy that wears 69. Like who's going to ball up and actually wear 69 and just wear it? Like that's the best player I want. I want that guy on my team. Sorry.
Baseball. I think out of like most like baseball numbers,
Nice.
I guess you have to have someone on your team to get used to it. But if you're not looking at it every day, it looks so weird.
It is weird. Like Robert with the 88.
Yeah.
Unless you're a pitcher. Like a pitcher, you get full back. If they're digging properly, you're getting full back. You get a nice 69. Like a pitcher should wear 60. Like if you major league pitchers.
And like obviously this is a huge bias thing, but like Anthony Rizzo going from 44 to 48 with the Yankees, that just looks weird. Like
4 plus 4 equals 8. 48. Like
48 looks weird.
It is a little strange.
He was being clever, but it wasn't clever.
Like, it's slim pickings over there in New York.
But I was gonna say, the Yankees have like everyone's number.
Everything's retired.
Yeah,
sir, you'll have to take 104. Yes, you got. Can you get some bigger shoulders to fit the?
They might have to start unretired.
Yeah, fuck that garden. They need to like expand out the garden too. Like there's like 75, and with those Goldilocks balls, hey, everyone's a winner. Let's go, Yankees!
Especially
your fucking Goldilocks balls, you cheaters. Where's Mike Judge and Aaron
Arson?
Arson
three brothers.
Where the hell is his asterisk? And where is the champion of purity?
Roger Maris's father.
Roger Maris Jr.
All right, let's leave everybody with 2 predictions. Where does Dansby Swanson sign, and what left fielder do the White Sox sign?
For your sanity, I will say. For your sanity, I'll say he signs with the Cubs.
Fuck yes. There you go, Mitch. Positive vibes.
They just have a cousin. They'll probably sign him to a minor league deal.
No, he doesn't, but his wife plays soccer in Chicago, Mitch.
So there's
maybe speed. She can't hit. She'll fit in with the rest of the team. So we'll go with her.
Kevin Swanson, where's he going?
Back to Atlanta.
All right, Mitch, left fielder. Who you got?
I can't go with Victor Reyes' cousin. I'll go. I really want. I don't even know if I'll go Joey Gallo. I think
Kevin.
Joey Gallo. I hope he does. I want Joey Gallo in Chicago. I want you guys to love him. He's worth loving. So, Joey Gallo.
He's due for a bounce back year too.
Oh, he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
I don't know why he's there.
Guys, he's a great dude. Like he's a guy you want to root for. So he's talented. He is really talented.
And then Dansby Swanson. Why not? Let's just continue the misery. Dansby Swanson to the Twins.
I hope he says
a small market pain. Like, oh god, that hurts worse.
Well, that was my prediction for him.
But you know that
because I thought the Cubs were going to sign Xander Bogaerts.
Dudes will say this too. Like that feels like when someone like flicks you, like it barely hits your nut. You're like, oh, it hurts worse. That one hurts worse. Twins would hurt worse.
If it turns out that the Cubs literally lost out to the Twins for Dansby Swanson, I think I answered the question on Twitter the other day when somebody asked, like, should Jed Hoyer, like, do you think he's going to get fired? I'm like, no, he's only been like the guy for a couple years. If he loses Dansby Swanson to the Twins because they offered him more money, like, just fire him now.
It's the years. It's the years. It's the years. He won't be fired because you know what he's doing? He's following his directive and wearing it like a good boy. So actually, I would love for him to quit and resign because that would tell me that he's done with Ricketts.
That story that came out in The Athletic on Wednesday, he is not happy with the leaks.
Nope.
Like, there is tension. There is tension.
Absolutely. Because it puts what kind of negotiation can you make when the dumbasses in the fucking business department are getting drunk at the fucking random ass bars and like revealing information because they got it through their investment because it affects the bottom line? Hey, I need you to do PR for the blankety blank because we're about to sign blankety blank. It's the worst fucking job ever. Like I actually tweeted that today. Social media team for Chicago Cubs deserves a hug because they've done. They're gonna, of course. It's going to be all like, check out this prospect. Look at his fucking TikTok. But that's going to be like for the next 2 months. But they've been trying to like feed everybody like shit and turd and then say, look at this caviar we gave you. Like they have the worst job. But it's bad. Like they're just.
Is caviar really that good? I'd rather eat a chicken egg than a fish egg.
It's salty. It's just salty. It's like pop. Like
the amount of money you got to spend on.
I don't get it.
For everyone still with us, thank you very much. Hope you guys had a good time with us. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends. We're also on every podcast app out there. For Kevin, for Mitch, for Zoe, who had to leave about an hour ago. Take care, everybody. See you next week.
Have a good night.